Charlie!
Wróć!
Wziąłem!
Kurwa, co tu się dzieje?
Nie róbmy tego, okej? Mi to nie wychodzi.
Ale nie, no wyszło, tylko kurwa druga fratka z tepekiem akurat tu przyszła.
There's a fence on it though, so it's kind of...
I'm going for another kidnap in Waterfall, okay?
Don't know how I survived though. Waterfall?
Waterfall.
We're trying to queue for you.
Way to go waterfall.
No, I want to speed up.
Clean up.
Get up there!
Look.
Nice.
Hackus uses his raid portal to pull off a big kidnap play, grabbing Exorcism's caustic and breaking the linchpin of Exorcism's defense.
Necessarily want to count every point, you know, so if they do banner camp, that's an extra two kills perhaps. It would be a good thing to do. Since they're not rotating so early, they're still in refinery right now.
Yeah, that's true. And the reason you don't see competitive Apex... Oh, actually, I'm going to hold that thought for a second here, because Totem Esports, Maz finds himself in a pretty rough spot. He gets taken out.
And did they just make that happen? Oh boy, look at the impact there. They're gonna go ahead and find one, and that's third impact, also finding kills on the other side. So Alliance, meanwhile, having their own battle.
Yeah, well, they don't have ring problems at the very least. They can chill for a while, but where is this Wraith off to? Looking for a kidnap, but that really hasn't worked out their way. Do they dare chase? It looks like they might. This could be a complete disaster, but there's a caustic barrel right there. Says hello, cracks, and just goes back. That is very cheeky indeed, but my God, was that a risk?
Same spot. Wait, right there, I'm looking at them.
They're in a bad spot.
If I die, careful, okay, they might just us if I die, okay?
Yeah, I'm with you.
I'm moving kidnap, watch for it.
Yeah, watching for it.
I got him.
Yeah.
And he takes out, I can get them too.
Power ramp. Here you go.
Crossing a low ground.
I'm gonna kidnap.
I'm gonna EMP the last guy.
Kidnapping, I'm kidnapping.
Yeah. I'm pushing him.
What? Go on! Let's get him shot back! No.
Nice. Got the beat. Watch out. No way. Are you fine?
I'm on! What the f is happened? Dude, you're gonna understand hard, just kidnap. That was, I might be the GOAT.
Hold it down. Monsoon gets in with the red, and this is actually a great spot for him. No one has eyes on him, and I think Shiny can make it in there as well. So Complexity, despite all that, we're actually not in a bad spot.
They're going to take advantage of this chaos here. Actually, a kidnap attempt comes through. Look at that. It actually gets it now. They're going to have to fly through and go ahead and fight through this kidnap. Going to be difficult for Complexity, and what an aggressive attack there.
And oh my God, I can't believe they would have the audacity to do it. Mastiffs in hand. Shiny gets off the bat, and the grenades are flying through. One hit. Will this be the down? It's Monsoon, and it sends him back into the death trap. Oh no, Monsoon. The grenade of time. It takes out one member of the remaining two of Complexity.
So long. I kidnap this guy. I got him!
Okay, what the
No! Oh my God.
I was not ready, bro.
I wasn't ready either. That hit.
In front of me.
Team north. Wait, I can probably kill these guys. Hey, can we pick them? I'm betting. I killed two, there's one more. With you. On the other roof, Yeah, kid on the roof. I'm betting. There's one more there. On the other roof. They draw. I'm betting. I got y'all. Are they resting below us? Yeah, they are. Where's? They're queuing through. Low ground. They're resing here. They're resing here, man. I can have one. Alright. One still up there. There's two there. I'm batting. Any bats? I need bats. Yeah, I'm dropping. There's bats. It's lost. It's top goal, by the way. Yeah, they're still here. I Okay, they're dropping. I'm gonna MP this zone. I'm MPing. It's last squad. MP them. Bringing Q. Dead. Last one. Nice, boys.
Sandy gonna be inside zone. LG actually kidnapping? Gimme.
You got kidnapped one. No way, bro. They got him. Oh my god, I just up. No. I didn't mean to do that. Oh my god. I need to be killed.
Oh my!
You have nades? Can you nade that? I MP'd them in the back. I'm not watching it right now. It's just one guy, I think. It's just two. It's two. Get one.
야, 리베 따세요. 유카시. 그래도 야다. 왜 차가 칼당 2回이게. 왔다. 오르타 왔어.
I'm batting. I'm ready. I'm taking space. That's how. They're all on track. Swing left on you. They're swinging. What's a one? Kidnapping rock. Look at rock. Swing. Swing. Dead. Look. I got you. Yeah.
Shopify Rebellion take place center zone of Skyhook on top of that main tower. Really strong position, extremely early on.
Okay.
You do have to be careful with the altars in play. You can see UNLIMIT trying to go for that spleef. Will not be able to abduct anyone off of Shopify Rebellion, but here comes another one. And I love this. They were scouting it out with the crypto the whole time. So now Oki is able to secure them that kill.
With SBI, our second team that won't be making it into the last chance qualifier, while Shopify Rebellion light up the feed.
100 Thieves started off the day with a huge win.
Wow.
Boney playing all 10 games. Can he bookend this series with another win here on Broken Moon? Not unless rivals have anything to say about it. Try and put a stop to them right now. A lot of utility thrown out onto 100 Thieves, and they've got Sheila ready to go for this. Boney tries to kidnap. It's not going to quite work. No, it's successful. He gets off of this.
Oh no! Chronicles of the distance of blue Evo shield here too. Everybody eats here for 100 Thieves. Appendix not needed here in this situation with 100 Thieves and their performance thus far. 75 total points as Phony with his momentum.
I'm sorry, I did put a bucket of sweets out there. There just wasn't enough to go around.
Well, they should be watching this, to be honest with you. Here comes the kidnap attack now from Imperial. How did he manage to pick someone up? It looks like he did. And it will be RKN who falls into the trap. They finish off the kill. Great job on the Wraith. And that's good to see how back on Wraith. That's what he can do. And that's what you need to do, Dan. Blinks is looking for another angle here. He wants to ping. Oh, it's a collapse! It's a collapse! One of them is a headshot! Blinkser!
Yeah, there is. Wait, maybe we can get a good beam.
Yeah, try to pressure them as much as you can. You and Rambo can probably look for it.
I knocked one up there.
Holy.
They bubbled it though. They bubbled it on height.
There's still this team down here. They're rezzing, bro. I think they're rezzing.
I think they are too. I'll get an angle on the right.
Yeah, get an angle.
I collided them. They're so low up there.
They're rezzing, I think.
I knocked one up there again. They might die.
Try to get the kill.
They jumped on high. I got him.
This is not a fight you should lose, especially if you can hit this one. He's scoped in. He sees the Caustic. It's a headshot. Oh boy. See you later again. Cover back to back. Weigers, without a doubt, will be the champions here in Game 3 Fallout. And what a game it was.
Oh, well, that bow has run out of luck, and maybe their dome will be forced if it hasn't been already. But that's a fantastic Kraber shot, which maybe slows down the push.
That's a freaking heat check. He just pulled a free from half court to make sure he can still
Oh, and they get laid
Oh
on.
my god! And he collaterals! He collaterals with the Kraber no scope, and they're gonna get the wipe on the GW. Oh my god! Yuki with the collateral on the Kraber shot. That was disgusting! Holy shit, dude! That was
Alliance
insane!
Has 16 kills. We're in the zero. Get your spikes down. I'm on cooldown. Get ready for them to set. Set it! Wait, dead! Almost cracked! Go, boy!
Great job by Sweet to stay alive.
140
on a Mandy!
Get him, Mandy! Get him, Mandy!
And they get knocked! They go. Oh! Scars! Mandy with some great. Call the ambulance, but not for Scars. Call the ambulance for Singularity.
Bro.
Mandy with some great shots. That's what I'm talking about, baby. You can touch on the Kraber. I'll navigate the other space. Oh my god!
But can they sign things off with a victory here? There's a Kraber in hand for reps, and it's 210 right to the nutsack. That'll do it, and another one as well. That's right, here comes the push, and another shot's gonna come through. Zach Mazur's on fire with the Kraber right now. Next for 2, and that opens the door.
Cross, he gets hit, he's out of the fight as well. Will C9 be able to pull this one off from down in the depths up to the top?
And now we're seeing the damage, now we see the swing from Timmy as NRG look for money, it's 150!
To use that util at all. There's the down onto Saku. You can see the ultimate going crazy on the side there as well, but Zainu has been dropped. They're trying to create some space.
So many opportunists around us. We saw Hal had, oh, that's a very good start, isn't it? Hal had 80 bullets in his rampage, and he was really trying to be conservative, and Hal is no more because that Kraber is going to finish him off. He's not going to be happy with that, and there's more damage to be done. A crack, but is there any more than that? Oh my face! Madness, where are you going?
It's a little scary to think how good they could be in day 2 and 3. And guess what? A Kraber in the hands of Zero.
No.
He hits those. Kraber connects for 319 damage.
Caustic is one of the best legends to play when you're defending a building like that. Hitting those shots.
Team Burger still alive, Kraber in hand. As you said, one of the only teams left in these finals who has not yet got a victory. And a 95 is a good way to start.
Just a little bit of a leg shot. That one's a little bit better. How about the third one? Third time's a charm for Jaro!
Barely holding on. Reignite still happy down the bottom as well as Perry Hellion.
A little bit earlier, all of a sudden we've gone from 80% of teams inside of the circle to around 30% of teams as we see gentrifying, knocking Sweet out of his shoes. And you see the frag grenade in the hands of Sweet as well, but I still feel like this Kraber shot is one that, if it's hit, is going to ring off. Cross Kings Canyon as he takes down Rocker.
Wow, yeah, and that itself is already kind of job done when it comes to getting the points. They could still get the win, though. There's the Kraber knock onto Prize. That could be the opening to the end here for anti-AA. Reignite, although, hang on, Sharky just lost all of his armor instantly as well, so it's not over just yet. Another Kraber shot. Never mind, this is surely Reignite's game. They can't lose it from here. High ground advantage as well. Zero drops down, loses the armor. Not exactly landing all of these massive shots, even runs out of ammo, and may fall for this as well.
Know they're weak, could try to push down on them. Alliance is actually one of the squads above, and this could be huge for Alliance.
And not only did Aurora survive, but they also got their third back in as Alpha Draft gets his face ripped off his shoulders.
Prio, that's forcing the wall out from Na'Vi. Oh, this catwall is good, but the knock on Matafi is bigger! Fnatic does open things up, he finds the magic bullet, and again, it's a 2v3 now that has just been created by the Kraber.
Situation, losing a teammate, but they hightailed it and came back when they started reading the kill feed, knowing they can possibly get back in there. Ooh, the no-scope with the Kraber.
Come on, the
I missed my bullet.
In here, Brennan, on the sword. Newcastle.
I knocked the caustic.
Almost cracked him. It's
Cracked him, he's low. He's low.
Kill him. Oh my god!
Good shot. What has he just done?
Oh my god!
Drop. One dead.
Nice.
Come on me, guys. No, come back for us. Come back for us. Come back.
Yeah.
One dead. 1 HP. 1 HP.
Whoa. Is that team?
Alright. Okay, TV3. Whoa! Last! No, it's not last. Yes,
Crazy. So has Suzuki here as Yuka. Can he hit the Kraber shot? He gets the shield break. The follow-up, and he holds the high ground. Crack after crack with the Kraber Leica, and Suzuki coming to clean up on aisle 3.
Complexity there, still a 2, and there you go. Your wish is your command, and Complexity now with Monsoon as he's still connecting, still hitting these shots.
Catwall's blocking to the right.
Does look like it's a 2v2 at this point. Gets the headshot with the Kraber, and they'll push straight through the smoke to try and get this final wipe onto XZ.
NIP though, I'm glad that, you know, just after we had the hot takes that they were able to at least bounce back a little bit there.
Yeah, exactly. And you see right here, a little slow-mo action.
The last 6! And I tell you what, all gamers have got a real chance to deal some damage here. Drops is gonna say, you peek, I teach!
Waiting out for his smoke nades. 5 more seconds, and he's still in the line of sight of a team on the low ground. Oh, Yuka with the Kraber!
Mático aqui agora para a equipe da Gosu, que tá no meio da rotação, fightando diretamente ali. Vamos ver se vai conseguir punir. Bala na cara, mais uma kill pro Renate, que vem fazendo estrago de Crebão por ali, hein? Consegue um espaço primordial agora a equipe da Gosu. Mais uma bala, mais um 140 na peitola, ult na cabeça da Gosu agora. Momento complicado para eles. Olha, agora a Norcal vem muito forte pra esse endgame, hein? Olha, HS, o Kings vai de arrasta pra cima. Renatrix se destacando aí com as kills de Kraber. Mais 140 no peito, ninguém segura o menino. Agora pula pra cima, agora acaba deletado junto. Mas trouxe muito dano e agora é só botar pá de cal. Ainda vem de...
Both teams hesitant to push up because of the Kraber watching them. And that's a double whammy.
Yeah, that'll get it done. That'll get it done.
Here with alongside the rest of Dark Zero, though. He gets the knock with the Kraber.
And 2 bullets with the Kraber. It can do so much. But a pick up him.
Let's go with a Kraber. Amphi's going to go in and try and finish off the damage as well. And E6 lit for now. It's 20 going to be swapped. Gets one shield swap. Gets the KP. Needs to... Melee does it. E6. They go down, but they've done enough.
Nameless. Right, kill his team. Nade it. Good nade, I think.
75 on. They're going to get stunned. Yeah. Stun 2.
140 another. In the back, careful. I'm watching those dead.
All dead.
Don't die.
We've seen this before, Dia. Maybe no trick shot here.
Nice.
Finds a knock on Charman.
Another one.
Gets the crack afterwards.
Hasn't actually found the rest of the kills yet, but the fadeaway Kraber shot as well.
Playing around that rock are making things so difficult.
Kraber shot could change everything, though. And we've got plenty of bullets. Oh, no, sweet balls! It's just a Koifel left, and as you said, on the other end of this, both very talented controller players. Koifel heralded last Shams as perhaps one of the best in the world. Can Slayer retake that title? Looking from the bottom, he's hiding behind the knockdown shield. Koifel's got an angle. Koifel's got the win!
There's one guy in there. I'm across.
Kraber him. Dead. Crypto one.
Kill that guy enemy. Play knock.
Get spotted. Hostile spotted.
Freely walk in? Nah, they're gonna get poked. They are found out.
Foot woke up. They woke up right now.
Gen.G having a very good game as well, but here it is. Senox goes, yo, what up, boys? What up, Rack? Anyone else want some? Boom! 145 to Impulse. Oh, just imagine.
And Hardeki wants a stick. Will he get it is the question. He's going to be trying to... Oh my god, the blind fire with the Kraber! Hardeki doing Hardeki things right now. Connects for 2. You gotta be kidding me. Hardeki with 2 kills, playing by his lonesome.
and playing out of his mind.
本の対してフナティックは打てる位置。ケツだ。前取り切りに行った方がいいかこの位置どうだ。床が来れば見えている見えている。レイジ落とした。
そうだこれノーセポとしたら大丈夫ですよ。
メールとスラがたつき戻して残り1枚になった。 BT が2ダウンで BT 全滅。これでリドルが取り切った。ノーセポの残り1枚。リドルとフナティックのスリーベースになるか。
そうですねフナティック削られないことですねとりあえず。
あと1枚ですから、スイッチして海ちゃんダブチ。この一人で抑えに行く。海ちゃんが持っていった。磨き落とす。上から誘拐風クレーバーを持って突っ込んでいく。最後は3対1になるか。この一騎打ちお見事フナティック。
He's literally sitting on it.
There's just a trap on it, bro. I'm watching for you. I'm watching for you. I'm watching for you.
They might swing me.
I'm
I
watching.
kicked it twice. I kicked it twice. Nice. Double kick it with me.
I think they traded.
50, 100. Dead. No, one shot on another. In the queue. I can see. Dead. Look left, CJ. Look left, CJ.
I'm with you. Looking left.
Look at that guy. Look left. Look left.
Yeah. They're up there.
Go down. Just go on the heady already. I'm holding right.
I'm going.
Dead on the left. Dead on the back. That's all. Our game, boys.
Creep on. Okay, towards me, look. Yeah. I thought so. Chill. Nice. I'm chilling.
ACP are able to instantly pivot, spot the Unreal Nightmare, or try to take up their spot, and with a shot like that from Mav, and a second one to follow up.
Guys, someone come to me. I need you to get over my stairs. Come to me.
Come in here. Come on here.
I covered one under. Knock two.
Turn the door.
150 bang.
Main corner. Up 30. I'm getting him. He's flying away.
He's dead. There's a guy over here.
Get the full kill on that guy. I'm building.
On the box. I'm cowering over.
Don't panic.
No time. It's two.
Rate this one. Kill us.
By the way, the catwalk got stuck. No catwalk.
He went to zone. He's on the wall. He's on you by yourself.
I got no catwalk. Right here. Right on my ping. On the other side of the box.
Yeah, see that.
On the box.
Jump behind his body.
Jump. One guy top left box.
What's the play here? We have to identify space.
Yeah, kill him. Last team.
Oh my god.
Let me trick shot him.
Trick shot. Hit him. Oh, see, back close. Back 40.
I'll set you up.
Right, clear.
Nice.
Come Chill.
Go.
I'll set you up.
Come on. Now it's all.
I was wrecked.
Let me trick shot him. Trick shot.
Let's go.
Which is probably a lot more than Moist have in their hands. As Ziprail comes out, a nice Kraber shot. No EMP,
follows up. Oh, beautiful. And then the follow-up here, too, from Tyler. Gets another Kraber shot. Hockeys, 3 for 3. Sends out the nade here to clear up the space. Sending out Unlucky to clean up Not Moist.
Crazy Kraber shots. He needs to try to get some on a Dreamfire to stop the pressure from the left side. Another great shot from Alp there, bro. A 120. How you third skis? The little Kraber nerf definitely hit now. Another 140 from Alp. Here we go, baby. He's getting it rocking. He's getting it flowing. He's trying to get the shots down. AD is now rocking. Oh my God! What the f? Alvarelli, inhuman no-scopes there. As
and Naughty gets the knock off of it.
Naughty gets the full kill. What am I watching out too? Another shot going down. He misses it though, and that's the damage they needed to open up that fight. Unbelievable job by Alvarelli. What the hell?
IG is eliminated.
And another 140. Give me some more, baby. You got 2 more in there, dog. Let's see what you got. Come on.
There's no way they keep peeking it.
Another one on 119 from Alp.
He is farming.
He is putting on a show. It's heat check after heat check. This is crazy from Alp.
Kraber online, Marquez. Can he land the shot? Yes, he can.
Gets Kraber in the head, and he's going to get weighed down as well. This is just Marquez's show right now, K-Man.
Yeah, they are looking so deadly with their sniper rifle in hand, but Wolves, they can't actually rotate out to get any of the picks. They're just getting harassed by so much utility that they go back to the low ground. CrazyCon gets knocked. Can they even get this reset off? I don't think they can, Stoney. They're just going to have to fight as a duo.
Yeah, I mean, he's just farming right now. Marquez. He's getting so many picks right now, but the people are just dropping down and feeding him kills at the moment, and he's gonna get another one here from Remarkable Team.
He was on 1100 damage before that fight kicked off. He's hit 400 damage with a Peacekeeper, and he's running out of ammunition. That's really the only thing that's going to stop him, Stoney, I'll be honest. As we can see, Donut is also going to get a knock. Wolves Esports are here. They are dominating. We can see they have got the reset as well. Donut goes aggressive, cleans up Remarkable Team. We have 3 squads left. NML, they're down to a solo, Stoney. I don't know what's happened on the other side of the map, but Rendang and NML have just taken each other out, and Wolves Esports are here to clean up.
Oh, this is disgusting. He's going to finish it off with one of the best endgames by a single person I've ever seen. And Wolves take game number 2.
Welcome back, everybody, to the Apex Legends Global Series Championship. We're going to be closing out day 2 of the competition, day 2 of our group stage right now as the competition continues to heat up. All of our teams have been fighting tooth and nail to get a place in the next stage of the competition, and this last series will determine exactly where they will fall. We have been live from Sapporo, Japan this entire time, and it has been absolutely lovely. The entire experience, not only the weather, the people, but the competition. My name is Glitter Explosion, and I will be your host for the last series of the day, and I am joined by these wonderful people here on the desk. We have Graceful, Dia, and Spider Tiff getting us through this next round of games. Graceful, talk to me a little bit about how you're feeling the day's going so far. We got through one series already.
I mean, honestly, we've seen both sides of the coins where the teams that we expected to perform have performed, and other teams that weren't expecting to perform, you know, also did, but some fell short.
Yeah.
And I think that's a trend we'll keep seeing for the next couple of rounds as well, today and then also tomorrow. But we'll definitely have to keep our eyes out, because now, as we're kind of shuffling the groups a little bit, going into the next stage, people's playstyles will start to mix a little bit.
Absolutely. You know, we talk about that a lot when it comes to group stage. Things are very different from now until we get into that bracket side of things. But Dia, we're almost at that bracket portion of the competition, so talk to me a little bit.
We are, and Tiff and I were talking about it just this morning when we were on Olympus, but it's strange to say that half of all of our teams that are at this event right now have already completed their group stage. We have the last half sitting behind us right now. 6 games left for these teams to determine whether they are in the upper or lower bracket, which, well, it sounds like a small thing, can actually have very large implications on your tournament livelihood.
And we've been seeing, now that we've gotten to this point of the competition, Tiff, that everyone has started to pick things up across the board regionally. We're seeing some really impressive things out of our players and our teams. So give me your impressions and your thoughts so far.
I've got a lot of them. But I'll keep it brief. The fact that some of these players haven't actually gotten to play on Olympus just yet, I think it's going to be a catalyst for it when it comes to winner's bracket. You're going to have to be able to lock it in, adapt to it, because Dia and I did just get to cast the first 3 games ever. And honestly, it's some of the best gameplay that I've gotten to witness live. And if we're going to see that happen here again today for those teams that are at the top looking to cement themselves in the top seed in the winner's bracket, coveted positions on the POI draft are at stake here. And for those on the bubble, man, I don't want you to go home. I don't want you starting out in the elim rounds. We got to at least get the winner bracket secured.
Yeah, there's definitely a lot on the line for our teams today, and you were just talking about teams at the top. Let's take a look at our overall standings and see exactly who those teams are. We talked about them a lot yesterday. Falcons at the tippy top right now with 166 points. Very comfortable. And for the top 5, Graceful, really very comfortable for these squads, obviously making their way through to that winner side.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen phenomenal gameplay from them all. Not only the fact that they've dominated in specific groups, but also the consistency across the board. When you can put up those numbers, you know, we always like to talk about averages and the cutoffs. They are more than comfortable there. It could have even played, you know, had 2 more donuts each probably and still stayed comfortably up there.
I mean, I think that this is one of the most dominant performances we've also seen out of the other regions, though, Dia, when we're talking about these teams at the top, and I think that's a really nice surprise.
Yeah, this is looking like a very good LAN if you are a fan of APAC North, and I imagine that we have a lot of APAC North fans in the arena right now. The performances that we've seen out of Fnatic and UNLIMIT today were fantastic, and Enterforce 36 yesterday really wowing people with the triple win as well. There is some incredible potential on this stage, and it doesn't feel particularly regionally favored in the sense that I think we're seeing a lot of good out of all of our regions, but it hits especially hard when it's APAC North because it has been such an inconsistent region when it comes to Apex Legends international competition.
I mean, you guys should go back and check the VOD from that last series because the crowd was popping off when some of those regional favorites were doing well. So definitely has been really exciting here in the Dome. But like everyone's mentioned, earlier series was groups B and C, and now for the last time in group stage, we get to see A and D facing off. So let's take a look at these teams, a reminder for everybody at home. And Tiff, I know we're gonna be diving into these, but just a quick thought overall on who we have in these 2 groups.
Honestly, it's crazy that we have Crazy Thieves here because it's been a tough journey for them in the group stages. So if this is your last showing on main stage, it has to be one of value. And I'm not saying anything they've done is valuable, but like it really has to be just that much better to show us why we had some of you guys pinned to be the winners of the Year 5 championship. So we need winner potential there as well. Aurora, Hiarka, Uchako, and Slab, former LAN winners. Well, Slab looking for his first. It'd be nice to go into winner bracket with confidence.
Yeah, I mean, we have a lot of heavy hitters in these two groups, so let's start breaking down some of these individual teams because, Graceful, I know that you've got a region specifically you want to highlight.
I mean, you know, I'm always, I'll say it, I've always been biased, always have been, but I love EMEA as always, where I'm from, where I competed at as well. And when we're looking at the leaderboard specifically, we have to talk about both Alliance and also Citadel Gaming. Alliance is one of the teams that we all know and love, and we know their potential. We've seen their ceilings. They are a champion, and they can take home any tournament that they participate in. Citadel Gaming, however, currently leading over them and are in the same group, but have shown that potential that a lot of teams, I assure you, have underestimated them. And they have such a good potential. And the reason why I say that as well, leading, I think, consistently going into the tournaments and future tournaments because of their play style. When we look at these two teams are completely different in play styles, and that's why they both, despite being in the same group, can have good results for both of them, because Alliance, mostly known to be hunting and scavenging teams and then moving in on mid-speed to late speed, whereas as Citadel Gaming specifically are just going straight into the zone, playing for that placement and also opting in for those. And even then, we can also compare player size. You know, we're looking at Unlucky as an example, Roller, Fragger, but also play support characters. And then when we look on the Citadel Gaming side, we have Suni, who's been known to frag properly as well. But they're kind of not really the same way and the way they play. But when we're looking at it, kills-wise, they are the same. Damage, Suni is actually taking the lead. You could argue now, is it due to the meta and, you know, weapons like Scout and Long Reach being a little bit more prevalent? But when we're looking at it across the board, both of them phenomenal players. Really good to come out of our region specifically.
Absolutely, and we'll get an opportunity here to see some of these highlight moments from Citadel Gaming, and I love the story that we're getting out of this squad because, like you mentioned, when we come to LAN and it comes to EMEA as a whole, people are always going to be looking at Alliance. That is a burden that they carry, having been at the top for as long as they have been. But now coming into this international LAN, Citadel has absolutely crushed it and almost matched that level of competition, like you're saying, specifically looking at Zuni versus Unlucky, and it's like we're seeing the same reflected back. So I think they've really brought a lot to the table. But if we are going to be giving a little bit of love to Alliance here, specifically Unlucky, we also have a birthday boy in the house.
Those birthday boy push-ups?
Getting birthday gains.
Birthday gains. Birthday gains. You have to, I don't know how old you, oh, the clap? I can do that. I just want to let you know I could probably do that.
He's just showing off now. Now he's just showing off. Happy 21st birthday to Unlucky. I mean, what a way to spend your birthday.
What, doing push-ups?
Yeah, it was definitely the push-ups. 100% the push-ups. Listen, that's got to be one of the more active ways we've seen people getting ready to dive into these matches.
Tiff equivalated, that's a word, physical fitness to in-game performance earlier. He's warming up, you know? He's got to beat Zuni.
I love it. I love it. And if we're talking about this region, we might as well keep things going here, Dia. Give me another team you want to highlight.
Well, okay, well, funnily enough, Graceful, I have recently relocated to EMEA myself, and as such, I have to pick another EMEA team to look at, and so I've selected GoNext, because GoNext, of course, very exciting team. Really fun fact about them, although it shouldn't inform how you think of them at home. They have 1 win, 1 top 1, 2 top 2s, 3 top 3s, and then they have like 6 top 5s. So, but it goes on for a little while, which actually made me really happy. GoNext, with their win, have actually been really, really impressive. I'm remembering specifically this game with Hotdog Mafia that were right next door to them. GoNext ended up taking the game both away from Fnatic and HTD earlier by basically refusing to die. That's something this team has done really well. I got the chance to listen to their comms earlier. Specifically, Kinda has crazy passion in his comms, and Graceful, I know you always like to talk about Light as a beacon of the roster.
Yeah, most definitely. And I think that we see their proactiveness right there in that highlight, actually. The fact that they were initially hiding and decided to let them recoup for a second, they said, no, we're going to be proactive. Swung that immediately and cleaned up the fight and won that game.
But the thing that I like to say about them as well is that if you just look at the total points, they kind of fly under the radar, where people aren't really expecting them to be performing like, oh, because we're seeing these high numbers so far. They are absolutely exploding on certain games, as we see second, first, and fourth. If they can just clean up that donut, specifically the donuts, not too big fan of those. However, when you can clean up some of those games that are a little bit lackluster, their average like skyrockets.
Yeah, and I appreciated that pun. You snuck in there, D. I caught that. All right, love that. It was good. You have to go back and check the vibe for that. But if we're talking about regions, we highlighted it a little bit before. Another region that's been absolutely popping off TIFF is APAC North. So tell me a little bit about who you want to highlight.
Yeah, it's been really fun, right? Of course, UNLIMIT had a really strong performance at our prior series that D and I cast, but when you think about who else has been one of the top contenders, I do want to give a huge shout out to the Apex podcast. They put together a massive list, and Enterforce 36 was one of the teams that they highlighted as the best contender from APAC North to take the win here in the Year 5 ALGS champs. And so far in the group stages, they've done every bit of proving Dawn correct, right? They were at the top of the leaderboard aside from the performance in the top because, well, they weren't in it. So this is their last showing. They're looking to grab the top slot from the Falcons. They're just 33 points away from being able to grab that. So Synap, ILY, Juzna, look, we're going to get to see what they can do on Olympus. We know they're already having an insane amount of prowess on the maps that we have the most competent from, but they have the highest average placement of any team that has played in the group stages. 5.9. Dia was talking about how many touted first places his team had. Well, you know, they've won 4 games. They've gotten second 4 times. They have 7 top 5 finishes, and it is just an insane amount because in terms of kills, they've got 63. Their placement points are 70. They're consistent across the board. They're going to do great things here if they can continue that momentum.
Just a fun little thing specifically with that series to really put it into perspective. This did happen over on the B stream, but the 3 out of 6 wins is crazy for Enterforce 36. In the regular season, we give out bonus points for that. We obviously don't on LAN, but it is in a balanced game. If you are playing, you know, one opponent versus another, you should be getting about a 50% win rate if you're both equally skilled. In Apex, you should have a 5% win rate if everyone is equally skilled, and they're 10xing that by incredible margins. So really keep your eyes on Enterforce 36 if you haven't already.
Yeah, that consistency is something we are constantly talking about when it comes to Apex Legends. So it's definitely something to be keeping your eyes on. But we also want to see who's consistent when it comes to our talent predictions, because that's what we're going to be looking at next. Let's see how everyone is doing when it comes to points, where I feel like there was a little bit of a lull with some of our selections based off of the performances of maybe some of the squads that people were hoping were doing well. And I have noticed that we've all started picking some similar choices, which also means that we're not going to be getting some big differences in the points, Deanne. I can see that you're a little bit disappointed in that.
I am, and I mentioned this on broadcast earlier today. I picked Falcons before it was cool. I did all of my predictions before we started, and I said, okay, here's what's going to happen. First day, Falcons, they're not going to have a good day. Then everyone's going to pick Falcons that day, and they're not going to do it the second day because they're going to go, oh, Falcons, they're not that good anymore. So I thought it was going to happen, and I was going to be alone, but I wasn't alone. Everybody picked Falcons because they dropped like 100 banger on the first day, and now I'm out of luck.
That's just sometimes how the cookie crumbles as we get to see where everybody is. Vicky doing really well, and she decided to go with the legacy pick for this next series of matches. Quite a bit of us choosing Alliance. Dan with the Citadel Gaming after we just got a lot of love from them out of Graceful as well. And Dia, you went with Sentinels.
I think Sentinels are going to do really well in this LAN. I know that we haven't seen a top performance from them just yet. We haven't even talked about them on broadcast just yet because of that very same thing. They haven't really been performing very highly, but I think the roster should be hitting their peak right around now. Crossing my fingers, maybe it's Elim stage. We'll see.
I love that. We got some more Alliance love on here as well. Lace coming through with that Enterforce 36. She was following your footsteps from yesterday, Tiff?
I mean, look, that's how I took the lead yesterday, and I'm sure she's looking to make a crazy pull. Snipe down, though. If this is the day we talked about at the very top, if Crazy Thieves pop off, he could take the lead.
Yeah, well, right now, Tiff is crushing everybody. Okay, so Tiff is up top because of Enterforce 36 and the faith you have in them. Yeah. So shout out to Tiff and, of course, Enterforce as well. I think it's actually pretty close across the board, so we'll have to see what this next series does for everybody's points because we are about ready to dive into the last games of our group stage. So it's time to get our casters in here. I know they're excited to dive into the action as well. On set, Gaskin, let's get into it.
Let's do it. Let's get into it. There's more games to come, and these are big ones, Dan, because we get to decide, of course, who is going to be going into that winner side of the bracket and who's going to be going down to the elimination bracket for tomorrow, where we start sending some teams home. Now, something to keep in mind, we're kind of doing the estimates on where we think that cutoff's going to be. We reckon around 90 to 95 points. If you can land somewhere around that, you should, and that's a big should, of course, because we never know what's going to happen in these games, be good enough to go into that winning side of the bracket.
Yeah, currently I think the cutoff is around 82, but that's going to change very quickly in these first few games. And whilst we've set the pace in the previous lobby, now we get to really see people try and catch up and try and push themselves and elevate themselves into a position where they will feel comfortable to be in that winner's bracket. And yes, the prediction around 90 to 95, but that could change. It could be higher, could be lower. We will learn more as it goes on.
And of course, we are going to be playing on Storm Point for the first couple of games here. So this is the POI draft. This is where our teams will be dropping. And when you're looking at the picks as well, I always love looking at Alliance, because Alliance just get the north side of the map every single time. Even though they had the 21st pick here in the POI draft, everyone knows they're going to pick it regardless. So they're like, you know what, I don't care where you are, you can have it.
It's not worth taking the fight, but maybe Team Mango will have a little look-see every now and then if there's any sort of contesting that happens up there from any rotations on that northern side. But otherwise, VK Gaming at Mill, NIP at Lightning Rod, Crazy Thieves at Cenote. Will this be the day we see Crazy Thieves actually show up? Because they haven't really showed their potential thus far. They need a big day here today if they want to get into that winner's bracket.
They certainly do need to show something like the form we saw in the international scrims in the build-up to this. A lot of hype about Crazy Thieves and their performance, but it's been lackluster so far. We'll have to see if they can find their way back to form, back to what their potential can be in this series and really establish themselves as a team to watch going into the bracket stage tomorrow. Big games ahead of us here. Let's go into match number 1 on Storm Point.
And we're kicking things off with Enterforce 36. They are the best performing Storm Point team in this lobby from the 3 games that have been played on this map. So if they can find any sort of form like they have done previously, we might see big points once more from this team just to elevate themselves even more. They don't really need them, to be honest, because they are going to be a team that is already comfortably in that winner's bracket, but now it's about trying to get a better POI draft position, solidify yourself at the top. Here's the lay of the land, though. We're going to be heading up to the northwest, up towards Down Beast for our first game. And of course, plenty of caustics, as you would expect, here in game number 1.
Yeah, we mentioned Alliance at the start of things, landing over at North Pad and Trident. That is their home. That is what they claimed, and that will be a pretty simple rotation for them to have to make towards where this zone is going to be. They have a ring console to play with as well over at North Pad. Grow Gaming, who had some really good games yesterday. I think we'll be a little bit disappointed how they ended up in the final standings with 2 wins in that series that we did see right at the end of the day. But for VK Gaming as well, a little bit of a slow day for them yesterday as well. A really good opportunity here, landing over at Mill to get some good prio to where that zone's going to be going.
I do think VK Gaming are going to get better as the tournament goes on, but it's whether they will be fighting through that elimination bracket or whether they are able to force themselves into the winner's side here in this lobby. I think we'll learn a lot in these initial games. Now, I did say there's a lot of caustic. Actually, more Newcastle. Newcastle is going to get banned for match 2, which we did see yesterday as well. There was a tie between Newcastle and Caustic, but this time Newcastle outright is picked more than Caustic. So we're going to at least have Caustic for 2, then I'd imagine he'll be gone for 3.
Yeah, I mean, the consistency across compositions is pretty impressive, actually. Like, pretty much everyone, I would say, outside of Aurora, who are running Bangalore, Crypto, and Alta in game number 1, probably looking for a little bit more consistency with the composition across multiple games. But everyone else, I mean, Valk, Newcastle, Caustic, it is a strong comp for a reason, and that's why you're seeing it being played so frequently here.
So Grow Gaming with a fantastic chance here at Down Beast. They will be learning shortly that teams will probably join them on their rotations over to try and find a little bit of a position to work for that late game. So it's whether they can find their favorite spot dropping here. Is it going to be down low? Are they going to try and get up high? Do they even have the weapons to try and fight from the high ground as well? I mean, the 30-30 would do a fantastic job from Keon's side. And on average, they are getting 5.7 points per match on Storm Point, our Grow Gaming. So it hasn't been amazing for them. It's been pretty bang average. They'll probably be looking to try and find a little bit more points here and there, averaging on each game if they want to find themselves at the top of the leaderboard.
Yeah, looking across the games yesterday for Grow Gaming, it felt like it was either a win or a little bit of a dud game. There was no kind of in-between. The consistency in the so-called bad games was a little bit worrying where they weren't able to put a few points on the board. But elsewhere, as we take our attention away from Grow Gaming and where they're set up, where that end game is going to be, we've got SBI Esports on our screen, and they're taking a little bit of a fight. EMP's going in, and Egoist is taking some damage.
It's going to be Aurora on the other side. Yushaku's taking a lot as well, and now it's going to be actually advantage SBI. Real question is, can you actually capitalize on this one? Because Aurora were in and they were out very quickly.
Certainly were indeed. No knocks as yet. like Aurora at a disadvantage when it comes to the armors for sure. E36 also hovering here, looking for a potential third party. SBI going to get that first knock onto Aurora, and you can see the difference that we're seeing in these armors. Mike has to survive here and just about manages to do so, but we're at E36 in all of this. Surely they've heard this commotion taking place with multiple knocks on both sides. You would expect E36 to arrive to the party pretty soon. Here they are.
Yeah, here they are. They should be able to clean things up. There's the squad wipe. SBI down. Aurora, maybe a straggler can survive and get away at this point. And it looks like that answer is going to be yes. One person has survived, but he's been spotted. Esports 36 will not want to allow him to get away here.
Might have an opportunity just to pop a battery. Does deny the LOS just by disappearing around that corner, and Aurora will survive for now. How long for is a different thing altogether, though, but Aurora do survive. And the real casualty in that is going to be SBI, who will be eliminated first in this lobby. End of first 36, excuse me, will grab that loot and be able to continue their way now towards where that zone is going to be pulling. Now, elsewhere, looking at teams that are outside of the zone, down a long way away from where we're going to be taking part in our end game. You've got Ninjas in Pyjamas. They dropped over a Lightning Rod. They've got a long way to go. Supernova still at Command Center. GoNext and KINOTROPE all on that eastern side of the zone. They've got a lot of ground to traverse before they think about getting to that end game.
Yeah, there's a few teams who are not going to be finding a place to call home in this end game anytime soon. So they might just start to lurk around the edges a little bit, maybe pick up some scraps, maybe get their ear to the ground, see if there is any fights happening. They could potentially third party as well. Because otherwise you get into this situation where you force yourself into what will be, you assume the final circle, and then you have to fight for it.
Fantastic shots coming in from Verholst here. One thing about this position, very difficult to hold. There's a lot of different LOSs from different sight lines that can really just chip away when you're trying to focus on one team. One great advantage that you have playing this position is game one, no legend ban. So you have Newcastle, you have Caustic, you have your bunkered down characters to help you survive. One team who isn't surviving, by the way, is Aurora. They were just eliminated, and maybe Oblivion are going to be next as Effect is moving in, trying to stop this res. He'll get the final knocks. Now be Oblivion eliminated, or as I like to say, obliviated. It works.
It does work. I think that's
in some way.
Maybe a spell in Harry Potter as well. Unsure, but we are going to see at least aggression coming out from Alliance, and that's the crazy thing about Alliance. You can just send Effect on his own and he can do a job. He can find damage, whilst the other two are happy to watch from the wings. And in this case, it's the wings of the down beast. They have found the high ground. They have found arguably one of the most powerful positions that you can have for this end zone, and I'm excited to see what Alliance can do with this.
Yeah, you can see that they did have the ult port down here, the Void Nexus, so that if Effect got in a little bit of trouble, even if he got knocked, they were in position to immediately recall him to try and keep him alive. So commanding space in different ways here, Alliance, not letting any KP slip through their fingers, and that's points on the board. And dropping over at Northpad, you have to say this is probably one of the strongest positions, full stop, that you could possibly have for Down Beast.
I will say the zone has moved a little bit further south, away from the Down Beast a little bit. Traditionally, you sometimes see it go to the back of Down Beast, but instead it's between Mill and Down Beast. There's going to be a lot of open area to play, but also great news for the likes of E36, who are currently held up in Mill. They can stay there for quite some time and maybe pick up a lot of kills of teams trying to rotate through on that southwest side.
Yeah, this is interesting, isn't it? Because you're looking at this zone now, and a lot of people who would have seen this zone before know it finishes like between the two POIs, like you rightly point out here, in the kind of rocky open areas. No buildings to play. It is completely open, this space. There's, like I say, some big rocks that you can kind of use to bunker down, but with Valkyrie so prevalent, and Caustic and Newcastle so prevalent in this game number one, you can play a little bit later on this zone than maybe some others if you don't have Valkyrie, because you can get that purple perk you can take to the skies. You can try and slam a little bit later on with the Newcastle wall, get some Caustic barrels down, and you can play very late to this zone, which, if this is a game 2 or game 3, might be very difficult to enter if you're not here early.
And not any ramparts to worry about as well. So that Newcastle wall is going to be far more protected than it would be if there were any ramparts in Sheila to try and deal some extra damage, but it's always shoulda, woulda, coulda. You get into that position where you're like, well, should I have done this? Should we have put the Newcastle wall here? It's very minute decisions that can be the difference maker when you do slam in those areas. Like if you leave just the slightest gap that's opening for some other team to put damage at you from a certain angle, you can be very much punished. So there's a lot of trust going into your Newcastle player when you are relying on a late push like that.
Yeah, maybe we are pulling a little bit more towards where Boogie borders find themselves right now. This little compound just to the west of Mill. Something that has been popping up a few times in international scrims in the build-up, and those patterns will be recognized by some of our best teams, of course. These buildings are not the easiest to hold, especially that broken one that you can see just the right-hand side of where Boogie Borders find themselves in the POV we were watching. Elsewhere, away from the zone, we're going to take a look over at Checkpoint now. We've got Legacy and Gaimin Gladiators taking a little look at each other, and GG are having to retreat here.
Yeah, retreat this shell. Legacy just looking to try and get some information, a little bit of ring console to see where actually they'll be going, and they'll have that extra info that some of those teams who rotated very fast towards down beast won't actually have. So they might be able to find themselves in a better position than some of those squads. But they'll also learn when they probably Valk in, a lot of those better positions have already been taken as well, just because other people had to go for those spots. And the building you were talking about is being held up by Wolves Esports, and they've been having down after down after down. They're struggling to stay on their feet at the moment. And I think that just speaks volumes about what you were talking about. You know, you really struggle with some of those angles you're vulnerable to. But we'll see what Legacy go for here.
To the skies they go. The ring console is left behind, but they do have the information on where that zone will be pulling and where they need to try and land. Another ring console is going to be in front of Citadel Gaming here, and this one's over at Down Beast. And if they can hit this one, they might have the info that they're going to have to move before a lot of other teams are at Down Beast at the moment. So that could be really vital for them to get that information. But Citadel Gaming trying to deal with Effect and Alliance right now. They need to get this finished because we do know that that Void Nexus is down. And they're not going to be able to pull Effect back through the Void Nexus. So that'll be finished. That'll be Alliance down to 2.
And what a tournament it's been so far for Citadel Gaming as well. To be up there in the conversation with the likes of Falcons, UNLIMIT, Enterforce 36, Virtus.pro, who are all in the top 5 right now, but Citadel haven't played their games. We could be looking at the squad who is #1 going into the POI draft if they play anything, maybe even 50% as well as they did yesterday, which I think is fantastic, not just for EMEA, but also for the United Kingdom, because 2 UK players who have been performing very well indeed.
Well, Legacy, this is where they ended up, just playing behind this tree. Newcastle wall down, the queue down as well to give them a little bit of time to reset here, and you can see that they're going to need it as medkits needs to be popped. GoNext to playing under the bridge here, kind of looking back at the buildings outside of Mill. Like trying to get some angles onto this position of Legacy, just shooting that wall out. Missile Swarm will go in, just do a little bit more damage to it. There's always the risk in these open areas, these open fields, that you have to play for this endgame. If you land too early and teams have positions to fire in on you, it's pretty difficult to survive. It's almost the later you do it, the better.
Let's go next, looking at Supernova at the moment, who are valking in relatively late here, but Supernova are being targeted by several teams at the moment. There's a crack as well, so when they land, going to be very weak. So the real question is, has anyone else got eyes on them to maybe take them down? Legacy have found a spot to play as well, just outside of where that zone's going to be going. Supernova finding the tiniest little nook or cranny to work with at the moment, but you can see they are being bombarded right now by everyone in the lobby saying, actually, we don't want you to have this position.
Well, Hardeki is down. You would imagine that Qadsiah should be able to drag him back to his feet in a few moments' time.
He's down. Have to try and go for a respawn.
You are quite right. In effect, he's back in the game. So Alliance had a respawn. They got him back in.
And then you get a mythic.
And then you get yourself a mythic bin. So all working out for Alliance here, but they've still got a lot of work to do. And oh my.
Oh, baby.
Oh, baby.
I have a feeling that might be delivered.
Wait. Oh, I tell you what. That was a very well-timed little twist and a turn on the top of the Valkyrie, because it felt like Effect was lining up to do some big damage there.
One of those where you just feel something, a little tingling that someone's looking at you, as now you're going to see these buildings we were talking about earlier starting to get a little bit overpopulated. E36 trying to close in to find a spot, but it is not looking good for them. VK Gaming will be eliminated.
See that blast alive, he's gone as well. So E36 trying to force their way, no pun intended, into the bottom of that building, not going to be allowed to do so. As you can see, Supernova still just trying to exist, trying to survive, and trying to get Hardeki back in the game with the res here. Qadsiah's going to get a Newcastle wall down on the Newcastle, and it looks like they are going to be able to stick and get Hardeki back into the game. So they'll be able to play this one out as a 3, just outside of the zone, but able to walk in a few moments' time.
And the thing is, Supernova might be able to pick people off approaching them if they can survive, because suddenly all the eyes that were trained on them will be focusing on making their own rotations rather than trying to take them down. They just need to survive for the next 30 seconds as people start to approach them. As we see, GoNext have also found their way into this building. It is becoming very populated right now. If you turn a corner, there will be another player staring at you.
Supernova just trying to survive, still firing back and forth with Legacy. It's a little bit of a shooting range between the two. Alliance and Citadel Gaming over at Down Beast, though. They're having a fight, and what a fight this might be. Two of the teams who have been stacking up points on day number 1 here in Sapporo, now going hammer and tong in this fight. The swing comes out. Effect will go down. Hackers and Unlucky looking to clean up this damage, and Citadel Gaming will not be able to take down Alliance. The res will come in from Unlucky, And that'll be Alliance picking up the KP and sending Citadel Gaming back to the lobby.
GG also under fire from KINOTROPE Gaming at the moment, and KINOTROPE are on top. Blast and Lufka have gone down, so GG looks like they will fall. Still one player just about scraping his life alive at the moment, and Legacy now getting involved in it as well.
Yeah, I like this from Legacy, just overextending. They realized maybe they didn't have the best position for the long game here, so an opportunity to third party and clear space is one they know that they need to take. And it's Yanya up on height, looking for the final player down low. Gotta be a little bit careful here. KINOTROPE Gaming will go down though, and Legacy will stay healthy enough now to reset.
Interestingly, GG's still alive. Aku was able to escape and get away from things, so if there's a respawn beacon, potentially a chance for GG to reset here, but it's going to be difficult because Zone is going to start to close now and force some of these teams into this western side of the map. You can see Sentinels are just kind of waiting and biding their time because Grow Gaming are ahead of them, and they have to really go up and over them potentially, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah, I was just trying to check there if Valkyrie player had purple shields to have the purple perk to get up into the skies as quickly as possible. It's always a risk if you don't. Alliance now looking to force their way, and let's jump into the comms here with Alliance and see how they try and fight through the carnage in front of them.
Look left on my queue.
Yeah, I'm standing with her. Watch your back.
This as well.
Watch out, you good?
They're back with the menas.
Right to the
kill in front.
Keep close left, guys.
Yeah, we need to kill right side. Kill right side.
Yeah, no, but there's some close
Take
left.
the rock. Take the rock right side. We're good.
Okay, go.
Let's see after this.
Chuck is.
Yeah, I might be fucked. I died. You can pull me. Jump on me, maybe. Very good. Just pull. Just get the rock up there. Get the rock and we fight.
Push us. Right side.
There's COT.
Somebody right side. Full team right side, by the way.
Yeah, wall if need to. I got knocked.
I can't run now. Might push left door.
Hey, good. There's COT.
Batting.
I'm with you guys. Batting.
One on Huckins. I think we still have to fight this.
We have the rock though. Do we play rock?
I'm on them. I'm behind them.
I'm going now. Okay, 3, 2, 1, now.
I'm dead.
Come on, John.
Last one.
I'm on B.
We just...
That's right.
Nice try there.
Alliance are down, and Supernova, who reset a few minutes ago, take them down. And now we'll have to reset once again, but they are healthy, they are on edge of zone, and Alliance will not be able to fight their way in this time around.
That's what I was trying to say earlier. If Supernova just survived those extra 30 seconds, they were able to get into a position where they could ruin everyone's day on the north. But now it becomes a bigger problem. How do you actually go in yourself? Grow Gaming, just been eliminated. Also, meanwhile, we were in the listening, Crazy Thieves also got taken out as well. Another big heavy hitter going out here in match 1. As we check on in with Supernova, they do have plenty to work with here.
Kraber
P2020. Yeah, not the worst loadout.
I was going to say, if you said not the best there, we would have had a very serious conversation about your weapon choices. I mean, whatever you're comfortable with, but I'll take Kraber P2020 any day of the week. The Supernova, with all of the weaponry they need to walk in, but they still do have a long way to go. The carnage, though, is going to happen in front of Boogie Borders because they have RRQ inside of their building. They have GoNext inside of their building, and no one really is going to be safe. Team Mango and Ninjas in Pyjamas on the building just next to them as well. They all have to leave. Everyone has to leave to get to this zone.
I think 10 teams now approaching the final circle. Supernova, the benefit they have is everyone else is on the south. As long as they can just stray away from the attention of Sentinels and Wolves or deal enough damage just to push them back, they might be able to survive here and wrap the north side a little bit, but they have such little coverage. A lot of it's going to come down to Qadsiah getting that Newcastle wall down in zone sooner rather than later.
I wonder if they're going to Valkyrie as well. They might have the opportunity to do so. They got the purple perk. They can get up into the skies, and that's exactly what they are going to do here. They take to the skies as everybody else tries to do the same. Everybody is trying to slam a spot in zone here, and teams are just stacking up on top of each other, Dan.
Keep an eye on that kill feed. It's about to explode, as are all of the utility grenades that are going to be thrown at these teams that are arriving in the moment. Sentinels don't really know where to look, and at the moment they're focusing north up towards Supernova. Legacy will be eliminated in 10th.
So into single digits when it comes to teams remaining in this game. Sentinels not healthy, but alive. And at this point in the game, when you're approaching the end game, you will take that. They're able to reset here. They're having to play both sides of that castle wall. Sentinels now just trying to spread themselves a little bit across the lay of the land in order to survive a little bit longer. Ninjas in Pyjamas eliminated. They will go down as well. Boogie Borders still trying to get things to work here inside the zone as well. A couple of kills going their way up from this high ground. They're probably thinking, can we play this one late? Can we wait for teams to expose themselves? Pick up those KP. and then try and move in. Team Mango will be the next to fall. 7 squads remain.
7 squads left in the final circle. Make it 6. I was going to say, the dust has to settle at some point. You really need to kind of weed out the weaker teams who are not in a position to actually play this final zone. Now I think we finally got there with 6 remaining, with Sentinels being the next to fall. So 11 seconds until this zone does begin to close. GG are on the furthest edge, as are all of these teams on the building like GoNext, and you're going to see Boogie borders there as well that have to move. But Wolves and Supernova, they're the most central at the moment. They will be the ones who have to move the last here.
I mean, GG are in a really good spot here just because everyone else has to move towards them.
Yeah.
They can bide their time a little bit here as we take a look at the split screen to see where everybody is. There's Valcolt's up into the skies. It's Boogie Borders who are going to be landing first, and they're landing on the roof, top left-hand side of your screen. Metro with the double tap on the alternator. The only problem is he's got 2 bullets left. He's trying to find more ammo. Finally does, but is it going to be too late for Boogie Borders to survive here? RRQ will go out next. 5 squads now remain.
Well, GG just a 2 though. Even though they're in a good position, can they get a job done just as Aku and Lufka? And remember, GG almost eliminated earlier, just about stayed on their feet. But now they're going to be a real threat in this final circle just as a duo.
Just got to output damage. Just got to influence fights here, GG. There's going to be a lot of teams that are damaged. One of those is going to be GoNext as Supernova move in. The P20s and the Crable, we said how we could influence this endgame. Well, you're seeing it right now. That's going to be GoNext, who are next to fall. 4 squads remain.
Wolves Esports in the sky at the moment, but they have to land as GG will place their wall and they will begin to build their fort, hoping they can do this job. And Wolves, they land and they get absolutely obliterated when they do.
GG doing a fantastic job as a duo here, just to survive, just to thrive, and Boogie Borders will be next out. We're into our top 3. It's Supernova, it's GG, and it's Wolves Esports who are left remaining in this lobby, and it looks like GG might be granted an opportunity to win this one as a duo. Wolves are just down to 2.
Down to 2, maybe it could be a chance here for GG.
GG are moving in, the damage is done, and Lufka, 3 bullets in that scout is gonna be enough for GG to be your champions here. In our first game of Storm Point, the duo hold on to get it done.
And Blast celebrates with them, and of course he had to watch from the sidelines for the majority of that game. Just take yourself back about 10 minutes ago when GG should have been eliminated, but they got given the chance to get back on their feet. But only 2 of them. They didn't have the banner, but they still got the job done. And it shows, as long as you can get into a good position, as long as you can output that damage to make yourself big, you can still find those victories. And how huge could that win be for Gaimin Gladiators and their chances of getting into that winner's bracket?
Yeah, very, very impressive call. Just to play what might have felt like a very risky spot to a lot of teams out in the open, having to play around the castle walls with a lot of teams in front of them, but recognizing the traffic was stacked up in the way that it was around those buildings. They were never in a position where they were really going to be focused. Everybody else's focus was going to be on the teams who they were rubbing shoulders with. So GG were just constantly able to output damage as teams were fighting in front of them. And then when it came to the big moment, which is just making sure that you don't make mistakes, GG clutch up in those final moments. Fantastic stuff from them. 7 KP alongside the 12 means 19 points in game 1 for them.
19 points. I mean, that does put Gaimin Gladiators up to 72 in the overalls, which puts them in 26th. So they are starting to climb their way up into those top 20 positions. But that just shows how far GG are off it at the moment. They need to still do more. This is a fantastic baseline for them, but they still need to go further.
Certainly setting the pace here, but like you say, they're going to have to keep that pace up. It's more of a marathon than a sprint for them. There's a lot of teams who are in this lobby who are probably thinking 1 or 2 good games, and we are in a position where we put ourselves into the winner's bracket. Others are going to have to do it the long way, though, and GG get out to a good start here with the 19 points. Certainly going to be good for them. Supernova, 18 points on the board for them as well. More KP than their EMEA colleagues, which gives them a good amount of points in total. Wolves Esports that we saw in that final moment as well. Not quite the KP, but the placement points certainly healthy enough to make them feel pretty good.
And as I was mentioning earlier about Caustic getting not banned, instead Newcastle being banned instead, this is the first time all tournament long Newcastle has outright beaten Caustic in selection to be banned. So 18 people chose Newcastle, 17 teams chose Caustic, and it means Caustic survives 1 more game, probably. I don't think it's going to be more than 1.
Tough scenes for everybody.
I love how much I hate Caustic.
It's been like that since season 1.
I've gotten to the point where I'm just open with it now. It is what it is. But Newcastle, like you say, going to be banned here, which makes it always interesting for me. Like, playable spot. Like, think about how GG won that game. They don't win that without Newcastle, without the castle wall to play with that position.
Supernova don't survive that long without
Exactly. They're not attainable positions for them to hold on to have success. So Newcastle Gone makes game number 2 very, very interesting. We're coming back to Storm Point in just a few moments' time. Don't go anywhere. Be right back.
Red Bull is giving wings to the ALGS and the Apex community.
Red Bull gives you wings.
Caught a genie, know this body got you wishing. Love the way I pop it, yeah, I know it got you tripping. Didn't mean to burn ya, it get hot up in the kitchen. Hot, 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 hot.
I'm looking. Stop boy, you should shoot the right team. Focus right team. Yeah. Castle one. No. Nice, you can win this game. Yeah, wait. Come to me. Come to me. They're gonna fight. It's zone. Just let them walk in. Come in. Not team. Fighting. That. Wait. One more. Let's fucking go. Let's fucking go.
Welcome back to beautiful Sapporo in Japan. The only thing more beautiful, of course, than Sapporo is Dan Gaskin, who's alongside me. And let me tell you, he's a good-looking man. But this is where we find ourselves right now, moving towards game number 2 on Storm Point. Game number 1 belonged to EMEA. Once again, it feels like every time we've been on broadcast, Dan, it's been EMEA who have had success. Gaimin Gladiators with a huge win in game number 1. And they're going to have to continue that kind of form and that kind of pace in Sapporo on this main stage if they want to look to move towards that winner's side of the bracket. Of course, the crowd looking beautiful, as always. Dan, speaking of beautiful, you're here. You're still looking... I didn't lie to you, everyone.
Second compliment.
Good-looking man.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. It was fun seeing Blast stay warm after the victory, whilst he was dead, by the way. But you did hear in the comms, he was definitely kind of trying to lead the charge as the IGL, just saying, look, you can still win this game, shoot this team on the right. That would be a massive win for their chances of getting to win this bracket.
Yeah, very, very impressive stuff from them. And another thing that is wonderfully impressive, of course, is some of our wonderful sponsors that we have. And Galleria provides high-performance PCs tailored for elite-level players and creators, delivering reliability and performance when every frame matters. And shout out to them for being here in Sapporo. Why wouldn't you want to be here in Sapporo? I mean, you saw how beautiful it is. And for the third time, Dan, I'm going to say... Sapporo's a beautiful city.
It is, thank you.
There you go. Yeah. There's some more beautiful people, by the way. Everyone's...
A little U-turn. Everyone looking great.
I'm full of compliments today.
And also, the size of the crowd increasing every day here in Sapporo, as it should. And I tell you what, every single time we hear any sort of Japanese team win, whilst we are here in Sapporo, the crowd erupts. The noise is insane. And imagine, just imagine, folks, if we were to see a team like Fnatic get to that grand final on Sunday and even just get one win.
Tease me like that.
I mean, we don't have to go all out and say they're going to win the whole thing, but just one win of a game, I think this place, the roof would be blown off.
Yeah, and I'd be freezing cold. Everyone in here would be freezing cold, but it would be an event for sure. But, I mean, let's talk about Mia, Dan. We don't get to do this very often. We don't get to do this very often. It feels like every time we've casted so far this event, we have been talking about EMEA. It's been Citadel Gaming, it's now Gen.G, it's been Alliance yesterday. Everyone is GoNext. How dare I forget about them? Supernova in the last game are involved in the end game as well. It feels like EMEA really has turned up here on day one, and it's continuing into day two. But the big question is, of course, can they get to the winners bracket? Can they get to match point finals? And are we going to have that representation when it really matters? Because you don't win anything on day 1 and 2, Dan.
And I think this is a big development from the region, considering there was a time not so long ago.
I would say recently.
Recently, where perhaps outside of the previous GoNext winning Jams and Alliance, the question was, is anyone else going to match that same kind of skill level? Is anyone going to reach that same kind of level as well? And the answer is yes. We are now starting to see teams develop to that point because they have learned, they have grown from watching the other squads in that region. And I think it only makes EMEA bigger and better, but it also will push the other regions as well as now we get onto international competition. And that's one thing. In group stages, everyone's kind of learning how the other regions are playing. But then when we move into the winners bracket and elimination bracket, has that kind of transition differently where everyone has now learned how those other teams are going to be playing. Will your POI draft change a little bit knowing how these games and the pace of them instead?
Well, moving back into the gameplay then as we head towards match number 2 here. We're staying on Storm Point, and like you mentioned at the start of the previous game, the legend that will be banned due to its popularity in the previous game is going to be Newcastle. So that castle wall will not be able to affect spots that team play. I mean, we're not going to see the likes of Gen.G winning games in the style that they did in the previous games, using that castle wall as the biggest tool that they had to survive and play that spot. But rightly so, we need to give them a little bit of love at the start of this game. Gen.G dropping outside a command center. They have, of course, the winners of game number 1 with 19 points on the board. And I don't even need to look at the stats. I'll know full well Caustic's going to be banned here in match 2. It's just how it develops here in the meta at the moment. Newcastle, Caustic, usually the first to fall. But it does mean it opens up for a slightly different compositions to come through. We will see some different legends here or there. A few Maggies, a couple of Seers, Catalyst, Gibraltar also coming into the equation, and then some more Cryptos that are starting to be added as well. Good news for me is that Caustic will be banned. I told you I didn't even need to look at the number. I already said it was going to happen. That's where the zone's going though, everybody. We're going to the north. Looking like it's going to pull just outside of Wall, I would imagine, down to the southern side. Maybe on some of those platforms just outside of Wall. We do see some pulls a little bit more southern. We do see some pulls in towards the Wall as well. Maybe up towards the zipline building at the top. Yeah, I think we saw a
that circle is.
very similar zone earlier on in the tournament yesterday where it did pull to the zip building. So I have to see if people try and go for, you know, what's happened so far in the tournament and go off what they think they've seen versus what they've actually had in scrims, for example. But Supernova will be one of the teams that can arrive first, that's for sure. Yeah, Gen.G, one of those teams, is going to be pretty happy with this as well. You can see they're already rotating towards zone, and they might have some really strong prio just playing outside of Command Center, outside towards the Spider Caves. They're also going to have some Evo pretty close to them they can grab, so they're going to be at least on blue shield. So after winning game number 1, Gen.G feeling pretty good about their start to game number 2 as well. On the other side of things, we'll need to keep our eyes on Crazy Thieves. And I don't want to talk about this in too negative a light. I want to talk about it in a realistic light here, Dan, because game number 1, once again, they fell early, much like we saw them doing numerous times yesterday. I think it's okay to talk about. They are one of the tournament favorites, whether you like it or not. They have 3 champions on that team, 3 LAN winners on that roster. The expectation is they should at least be getting into the winners bracket. Anyway, Legacy versus NIP is what we're witnessing on our screens. NIP have already lost 1, and McLovin is taken out of the skies by Yanya. And I mean, Legacy, another team that also, I think, goes under the radar a little bit. Maybe the opposite of Crazy Thieves, right? A very different story. Maybe people are underrating them and don't expect them to be doing as well as a team of Crazy Thieves. But I think Legacy should be recognized, their roster that should be in the winners bracket, minimum, if not the finals. I mean, one thing that we have learned about Legacy, by the way, we're watching them currently try and chase down the remaining members of Ninjas in Pyjamas, and one of them disappeared on the Trident. And unfortunately, I think for Kurev, he's going to be chased down by 2 members here and have a very tough time as he hits the cannon. Look at that, very sneaky. Thinking they're going to chase him, and then they double back here. This should be an easy elimination. Kurev's going to do everything he can, but That'll be another KP being picked up. And oh my goodness, did you feel that? That was
the base in the arena hit.
That was full laces. That was if that was a football, that would have flown top bins.
Yanya asked him if he feels in control as he was down there crawling around, but now we're going to see Vayne still alive and still escaping at the moment, and respawning, may I add. So it is not the end of the story for NIP just yet.
Yanya actually kicked him so hard that it respawned him. That's what happened.
Kicked him into
and
the
you
air.
cannot tell me that anything different happened.
Into the dropship. And I tell you what, these Legacy boys probably know ball as well. I reckon they can kick a football around an arena.
One thing to highlight about Legacy, you are quite right in what you're saying. You know, historically, been a team who have made it to finals, but historically also been a team who's made it to finals in the most difficult ways possible. Last games of last series of last chances, and they somehow pull it out. I think they would like a much more serene route
which they
this
will
time
have.
around.
They're on 97 points as it stands, and if the cutoff is going to be somewhere around 90, then they should be good already. But of course, they want to get better into that POI draft.
This is all happening on the south of Stormcatcher right now, by the way. There's multiple teams stacked up here. GoNext, KINOTROPE Gaming, Ninjas in Pyjamas, all around here. And GoNext having to survive for now. Speaking of surviving, Citadel Gaming did manage to get a res. One of their players was knocked a few moments ago. And Remix Powers is going to go down again. Qadsiah trying to hold the line at the moment with his RE45, but it looks like SBI Esports ascending onto them. Got some knocks, and now the flank coming in here from EgoS. This is going to be Citadel Gaming eliminated for all the good work yesterday. Couple of done games at the start of this series.
That's how quickly you can fall from grace here in the ALGS. You can be on top of the world, you can be playing absolutely fantastic, but as those games come in, you start to scratch your head a little bit saying, what is different? But it is just the first map. Remember, it is Stormpoint, then into Olympus, so there is still plenty of time for Citadel to find their points. Although, realistically, they don't have to find points to get into the winner's bracket. They are already there, judging on the points they've already gained from day one. But they will want to be further up that leaderboard for those POI draft positions, of course.
Yeah, KINOTROPE Gaming finds some knocks. Not sure they're going to be able to convert, however, in this situation. Over to Crazy Thieves, and shout out to Observant Team to giving us a little look at this, because Boogie Boarders are in a position to maybe cause them some problems, but it looks like Crazy Thieves are alive to the situation and got some good initial damage. Bangol's going to go down as well. Metro's going to have to retreat here, using those jets to avoid that missile swarm coming down from the skies. And the Rolling Thunder will not connect for now. Boogie Boarders going to be able to re-establish themselves, get close to each other, and should be able to heal here. But for Crazy Thieves, good damage, not turned into kills there, but they're going to have a tough time actually rotating towards this zone. This is completely isolated at the moment, but I think when you don't have confidence, isolation doesn't exactly mean still you want to take the fight. You just feel like there's a chance you're going to die in these situations when your confidence is low.
I think the good thing for Crazy Thieves is you do have the fallback of an elimination bracket run at the moment. And even though the expectation is there that you should be performing, and I'm sure those feelings and thoughts are in the back of your head of, you know, we're not playing up to our standard, we should be doing better, and sometimes that can lead to mistakes, but I'm sure we will see a good game from Crazy Thieves at some point in this series. Now, VK Gaming eliminated. Grow are going to be on the other side as Mango, as they just collapse onto VK, and sadly, it was a sandwich they didn't really want to be a part of.
Yeah, a mango sandwich sounds terrible, to be honest with you.
Well, it's like something you probably would eat in Japan, though. I'm going to be honest with you.
True, it could slap, and I'm not here to doubt. That's where the zone's going, by the way. We are going just outside of water to the southern side. I did see a picture of a mashed potato sandwich this morning. I think I sent it to you. That's the kind of thing, by the way, that Dan wakes up to. Pictures from me of mashed potato
sandwiches. Yeah, not something you would eat in Japan.
But again, could slap.
Could slap, though, especially if it's the right consistency. Does have to be said. Anyway, Supernova have been able to find their way into the northeast of this zone in quite a powerful position indeed, as the zone has moved a little bit further south, as we were expecting, slightly away from wall and down towards those zip buildings.
Yeah, interesting to see GoNext there, just on the right-hand side of your screen, in zone, moving through Lightning Rod. They're going to be able to hit this survey beacon to get information on where everybody is, and they might actually be able to approach this one a little bit late, maybe look to oob onto the top of that zipline building. We'll have to see what their plan is going to be. Always a little bit risky to play this late into zone when the zone starts to singe a little bit. 45 seconds until we hit zone 3, and then it really does start to influence how long you can stay alive. Ninjas in Pyjamas, though, who were in trouble, remember, at the start of this game, looking less so right now. They've got Legacy behind them, so we might see part 2 of the interaction between these two teams in this game number 2. But Enderforce 36 are looking back on this, holding both of these teams out.
Everyone slowed down a little bit. A couple of poke damage shots coming across from Legacy and NIP, though, as they re-engage once more. But Going to be a transition across the map via that altar portal for them. Legacy did see that and were kind of overseeing what was happening as well, but I don't think these two teams need to fight. Instead, NIP focus elsewhere now as they continue their rotation through the map. I think it was Aurora they were having a couple of pop shots at.
It was.
Doesn't matter which way you go here for NIP, there is someone waiting for you. Crazy Thieves are around one corner, Enterforce 36 around the other.
Interesting to see this kind of traffic on this side of the zone. We saw it yesterday. A lot of teams building up on their rotations on this eastern side, away from where the zone actually is. Not sure why that is. Maybe it's Evo spawns, maybe it's information being available through survey beacons. I mean, Stormcatcher, of course, had one, but it doesn't seem it's an Evo spawn kind of in the no man's land a little bit on that side of the map, but not really a huge amount of information elsewhere. So just interested to see those teams happen to be thinking about the same rotate.
Sometimes it's avoiding certain squads that are a little bit more aggressive as well. If you know they're in that path, you might not want to take it. Wolves Esports being one of those teams who have typically been quite aggressive with their fights, but Crazy Thieves, speaking of aggression, are they going to be aggressive onto the Boogie Borders here?
Oh, Jen Burton is 1 HP, he is dead. Boogie Borders get that first knock, and even with a huge armor advantage, it's not looking good for those crazy Thieves.
Although,
however, Phony makes it look a little bit better here. 2v2 now for Crazy Thieves to navigate. Verhulst and Phony trying to hold this one down as the Valcol from Phony says, see you later, Verhulst. Good luck, buddy. I'm out of here.
Wow,
he got cracked as well.
Really upped and left his boy there. So really hope he's going to be bringing it back at some point. The Boogie Borders will survive that initial push, but now it means that there is a chance that Wolves Esports could look at that one as well. Enterforce 36 also starting to gravitate towards this, and maybe that's why a couple of these teams did hit that eastern side, because they were worried about the congestion that was about to happen here at Cascade.
I mean, so much traffic on this southern side. Like you say, you've got Aurora trying to hold out Ninjas in Pyjamas at the moment. Slab is going to be able to swing onto this one, and even though he's taking damage, McLovin might be able to take him down, and going to actually be a trade. Now Slab's left to last alive, and with the bottomless bats, he's going to have plenty of time to pop this battery, but where's the final player of Ninjas in Pyjamas here? Have they ported it out? It looks like they might have already got away from this deep into zone, but with zone 3, the zone is going to chip away at their health extremely quickly.
Here he comes.
Main's back. 1v1. Lane with the spray with the R9. Slab with the spray himself, and Slab will win it. Ninjas in Pyjamas eliminated, and Slab has enough time to pop the medkit as well.
Great fight from Aurora.
Does he?
Just about by the skin of your teeth.
Excellent medkit, gentlemen. Excellent medkit.
Crazy Thieves were able to avoid all of that in the end and get a respawn, I believe. They're all three back on the map. So Crazy Thief fans,
don't do it to a spider.
Live to fight another day. But it's not looking comfortable at all for this squad at the moment. It just hasn't, they haven't really synergized so far in Japan. But as I've alluded to, that can change very quickly here. It's not all doom and gloom yet. Still plenty of time here in this series, let alone this tournament as a whole.
Yeah, I think a team that's built on confidence a little bit as well. Just need one big game just to get them going, just to make them, just to bring that belief back. It's such a silly thing that we talk about so much, but it's such an influence on how fights and teams go. Big nades coming in from Legacy off the back of the EMP as they try and force their way onto E36. Yanya gonna drop, GoNext eliminated in the meantime elsewhere. Nizel with a cheeky little flank here, but looks like the port is gonna go down and they're gonna be able to survive. GoNext, they're on the chase. And they'll find one. But Yanya's left alive will be able to deal with Enterforce 36. They will be eliminated next. By the way, where the zone is going is towards the top of that zip building, like we alluded to very early. Supernova in prime position for it.
Yeah, Supernova are going to be well equipped and should be one of the teams in that final circle. As we jump back on with Crazy Thieves in their move around the map, I wonder if they're going to try and hit a full western rotation. No, it's up into the sky for them. Good. Let's see what they go for. Crazy Thieves are jumping to a listen and see what they think of this skyward dive.
Have one smoke. You have one smoke, right?
Yeah, one smoke.
We can smoke here. We can smoke here across.
Let me go first.
Yep.
Wait. Fuck.
Okay.
Yep.
Cross, they're landing here. They kill us,
Okay. I don't have all, by the way. I don't have all. Ult in.
Flying up.
Flying up. My bad notes. Call you, bro. Let's go hunt the bank of the other team.
Okay, guys,
the original plan.
Awkward moments once again for Crazy Thieves. It is just not going right for them. Something has to change as Legacy will also be eliminated here. 13 squads remain here, Dan. Unlucky for some, and you'd have to say it's been extremely unlucky so far for Crazy Thieves. Wolves will be next to go.
That's another aggressive team being eliminated out, though, and there's going to be a lot of teams in the southwest side of the map at the moment. They're all going to have to progress to the northeast, and it's going to be a very difficult rotation from that side. Grow Gaming have been able to get a couple of knocks here as well onto Team Mango. Aurora also eliminated at the same time. And now Grow Gaming, they could hold one of the few buildings in this northern side that'll actually be in the next zone as well. A brilliant position to hold.
Yeah, SBI Esports just been eliminated as well, and I kind of want to focus on what's happening on the southern side as well. Gaming Gladiators down to just one. Blast is going to be last alive, and the back-to-back is not on for GG. It is a top 10, though, and they will get a couple of placement points for it. Grow now looking to move on to Team Mango and finishing them off inside of Wall. That southern side, things seem to have calmed down a little bit as well, as two members of Mango are down. The last is still alive somewhere. They haven't been able to quite find that final member.
Confirmation, by the way, Team Liquid Alienware have now dropped out of 20th position and will be playing in the elimination bracket tomorrow, as that cutoff has now moved to 85 points, as 5 Fiats now will hold that spot. Team Mango will be confirmed as eliminated in 9th position in this game. It's kind of crazy that we're already sending teams into the elimination bracket after only 2 matches. We haven't even finished the second match yet, by the way.
Well, Lions down to just 1, but 1 is effect, and that's kind of like 2.
Fair. Maybe even 2.5 at sometimes.
I think it's reasonable to say. Oblivion trying to get that bubble down, just about managing to do so. By the way, the difference in that bubble going down and Monsu survival is 1 HP. It is as simple as that. Supernova trying to focus on it. Their job right now is to watch out for the oobs. The team's arriving to take their high, and that's exactly, as their attention is driven away, what someone tries to do. But it looks like Supernova doing a good job of trying to hold here.
Brilliant job to hold, and they should be able to clear this team, and will do so, at least get 2 of them, so they get into a power position and be able to get back up to a 3 once more. Oblivion almost gave RRQ the chance to actually do that job. 1 member has survived from RRQ. Maybe he can play a little bit of a placement game, as elsewhere Alliance also just been taken out of this lobby. We didn't see much of them this game, but they were able to at least get into 8th position.
Yeah, Grow Gaming doing a good job actually of just winning every fight that they had to on that northern side, but the western side of the circle as Lota opens things up with a banger of a nade. KINOTROPE going down. Couple of trades going down between the 2 teams though. This is a 2v2 and both teams are going to play for that res. It looks like Sentinels might have the jump though, and will be able to get back up to a 3 first before KINOTROPE can do likewise.
It's worth noting it's very different compositions between this fight. KINOTROPE do have the Maggie available to them, but I think the Wrecking Ball probably already used at this point, so maybe it's going to be a dud in terms of legend abilities for them to actually use. Sentinels trying to press up. Boogie Boarders are also going to be on the other side of this now as well. Winner of this fight will have the entirety of the western side though.
Valkyl out of nowhere, that purple perk is such a difference maker. The speed at which you get to the skies is absolutely insane. And teams making the most of it. Grow Gaming still looking to clean out the northern side of Wall. Nox and Keon will be able to do so. But KINOTROPE who are eliminated. But Sentinels who are originally now fighting KINOTROPE are looking to move in and take advantage.
Really getting aggressive as well. A very aggressive portal that comes through, but they were able to get back up and get a shield off before it happened, but dropped as the first to fall.
So Grow down to just 2. And Boogie Boarders are having a little look at this themselves as well. Sentinels looking for armor swaps, looking to get healthy. The zone is closing behind them though. There's only 40 seconds left and they need to get safe and healthy. Metro's going to be here from Boogie Boarders. He's surviving. Riley Coach with a crazy Kraber shot. I was here for it. But again, not quite connecting for now. Sentinels forced forward by the zone closing behind them. They have the ability to queue through this wall though with the Altar in the composition.
Yeah, thank God Altar hadn't been banned. It would have been a very different situation if he did not have that ability. Sentinels down to just 1. OTR does do plenty of damage here. 1v1 I think in this position, but there's another team that of course will be joining. Grow Gaming are the last to survive.
Sentinels out, Boogie Boarders also fall. Grow Gaming do survive as the last team on that northern side, and now it's RRQ who were involved in that endgame previously and are game number 1, who have a chance to do so here by taking out Grow Gaming and controlling the northern side of the zone. But a huge amount of credit has to go to Supernova, Dan. They got here early, they have held this spot down, and they are now in prime position to potentially win this game.
GoGamin just got the respawn, by the way. Crypto is still alive. Grow now back up to a 3. RRQ have not been able to find that final player yet, and RRQ are just a duo.
They've got to land on the high ground here. They surely have to land on the high ground here, Grow Gaming, and try and challenge. Otherwise, they're just going to be fishing a barrel, surely.
They can't reach it from the dropship. They have to still play down low. Maybe they can fight against RRQ, though.
They send it. And RRQ are down. It's a combination of teams and players who contribute to them falling, and Grow Gaming should be able to get a reset here, but the Caustic ult now comes in from distance, and Grow are in a rough spot.
All the meanwhile, Oblivion have been able to just slowly go about their business, go underneath Supernova, and find themselves in the center of the building. But the zone is going to move just southwest of the building. You are not going to be able to play inside of it for this final zone. But both teams will want to get rid of Grow Gaming at the moment. That will be their priority, so they can have a straight 3v3.
And Hardeki once again just playing with this smirk on his face.
He's a devious one, isn't he?
He is the definition of devious.
This could be good for Grow Gaming, though. If Supernova and Oblivion have a little bit of a poke and actually maybe get a knock and encourages a push, it would allow Grow Gaming just to step up that extra few inches they need to really have a chance in this final circle.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Usually when we see a 3v3v3 endgame, it's like pretty obvious what team is going to have a massive advantage. This one feels like no one really has a huge advantage. Everyone's got their own advantage in different ways. Grow Gaming, they're the isolated team, but they're being focused by the height, which is the advantage here for Supernova, and then Oblivion have the cover of the low ground. It really is interesting.
And worth noting, very different comps. You've got Gibraltar available for Oblivion, you've got Caustic on the side of SN, and you've got the Altar available on Grow. All very different abilities that could help in these final circles.
You also have the defensive bombardment here for Monsoon, which is ready on the Gibraltar. That could be a game changer. The amount of damage that could do in the final moments if they can get that bubble down and just survive and wait for the ult to do its work. This is a fascinating endgame here between these.
Worth noting as well, Grow Gaming, the only team that doesn't have a Caustic. Could that be to their detriment as well? This Altar is going to be really everything for them. Can you find some sort of angle, some sort of portal to find yourself away? It's now Oblivion start to edge themselves out. There's that defensive bombardment that comes through to distract, and then you find a spot and maybe a bubble comes out afterwards.
They've managed to wrap away. Everyone taking a little bit of damage, but nobody taking game-ending damage as yet. The bubble will go down. Oblivion taking a little bit of damage. The Ring is actually going to take down dropped it. And Supernova looking to take players out of the sky. Blinkster will be next. Oblivion will be the first to fall. And it looks like Supernova are going to be in position to close out game number 2. They will do it. Supernova, champions here on Storm Point. And it's EMEA again who are at the top of the pile.
They didn't feel like taking off. They were feeling Supernova. And now they put some big points on the board here in match 2. 40 points will be their total just after 2 matches. Again, will put them in such a brilliant position going into that winner's bracket scenario situation. And I'm sure they'll be feeling on top of the world right now.
Very, very impressive stuff from the boys from EMEA. Again, impressing here on the main stage. Good amount of kills, considering the fact that they were in that position so early down, reading that zone perfectly, playing the top of that zipline building, and holding off all the pushes that came their way as well. I mean, you look at that game front to back, you would probably argue, you know, historically, that's not the game which we would relate, that style of game we relate to this group of players. Usually they're a little bit more unpredictable, a little bit more kind of turning up in places you wouldn't expect, but getting Godspot in zone, holding it down, playing it perfectly with Caustic. Fantastic stuff from them. 10 KP, 22 points in total. Grow Gaming, by the way, big shout out to them. They actually come out of that lobby with the most points in the tally because they have 23, 14 of them coming from KP.
Now, interestingly, the way this affects the overall leaderboards in terms of thinking about, you know, what is this cutoff going to be? The number earlier we were suggesting somewhere between 90 and 95. With points already accumulated here in the first 2 matches, 94 now is the cutoff point. Wolves Esports find themselves in that position. 5 Fears have been sent down to the elimination bracket. That changes a lot here. This number that we were thinking, we could be going up into the hundreds right now, which means some teams who thought they were safe may not be safe from the previous game. As we look now at Supernova and what they were able to do, I mean, that just was perfectly played from them, finding the early game position, but then also bullying teams away from them when they tried to arrive.
I mean, a man now known as Elka, previously known, of course, as 9 Impulse. A little bit of a name change, and if the name change gives these kind of results, you're going to be pretty happy with the statistics that the name is bringing. Very, very impressive stuff from him. Good damage output, good kills output. I mean, you can't ask for more from a man who's one of the most experienced players, I think, now in EMEA, and he's bringing that to the fore once more.
So those are the series results as it stands. 40 points now total for Supernova, which does put them up to 100 overall in those standings of the overalls. But I guess that should be enough, we thought. But you never really know here with how things are going at the moment. More points seem to be scored by teams who perhaps weren't expected to when we were looking at those numbers a little bit earlier. Down at the bottom, though, is probably where my concerns are. VK Gaming, 0 points. Reigning Split 2 playoff champions. Crazy Thieves, 2 points. Enter Force 36, 2 points, but probably shouldn't matter as much because Enter Force 36 did enough yesterday. But for both Crazy Thieves and VK Gaming, very worrying signs. We might be seeing them both in the elimination bracket if they don't pick things up.
Yeah, and I mean, finishing with the points totals that they currently have as well. A reminder, we're not eliminating any teams today. We're just putting them into different sides of the bracket. But when you look at POI draft and trying to force your way back into a good position to get to our match point finals, boy, you don't want to be down the bottom. And for Crazy Thieves, I got to be honest, the performance so far has not been good enough for them to deserve to be in that winner's side.
I mean, they find themselves down in 37th position in the overalls, only ahead of SBI, RRQ, and Men of Culture. And Men of Culture are only a 2, so it really is not a good look at the moment for either Crazy Thieves or VK Gaming, who I would have expected to do better. Now, Alliance, they had a pretty quiet game in that one, it has to be said. We didn't see them much on their rotation. But again, they are a team who has achieved enough points through day one where they should be more than comfortable going into that winner's bracket, as well as Grow Gaming have a little conversation between themselves. Was there anything more we could have done, or are we happy? We got the most points in the lobby, so it doesn't really matter that we didn't win.
Yeah, I mean, if you're wondering what Drops was throwing between his hands, you're probably thinking hand warmer. Actually not. It was actually a bag of spices that he puts in his ramen.
It was ramen?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, that's new tech, I've heard.
That's new tech. It's real, not made up whatsoever. Amir, though, Dan, again, I mean, Supernova, I mean, we keep talking about it. It feels like that every single endgame, there's an Amir team involved in it, and they're just performing, above and beyond, I think, even, in our bias ways would suggest. So impressive stuff once again from them. The points are starting to tally up now. We are starting to get into the business end of the groups. Of course, we've got some more games to come, and we've got one more coming here after this break. We'll be back in just a few moments.
Galleria, the official PC partner of the ALGS Year 5 Championship.
Deserve this.
Clever tactics, bold maneuvers. You've a curious mind. Care to fathom the mysteries of the universe?
Sony InZone, the official monitor and audio partner of the Apex Legends Global Series.
Горят снизу. Очень больно, очень больно.
Пробиваются у нас. Нет, это в них. Я килюсь, мне пока ебано.
Ресет. Full reset. Они горят снизу. Я валькуюсь.
Валька одно летает. Бил.
Ласкат. Горят. Кушу их. Застанил троих. Найс!
Well, Amir on top here, of course, in Sapporo, feeling good after games 1 and 2 with back-to-back wins for the region. But we want to give a shout, of course, to Sapporo, our partner here for the Apex Legends Global Series Championship. It's a beautiful city, Dan, and we love coming back here. Some of the wonderful things we love to experience, some of the temples, some of the, the snow, the snowboarding, skiing, all that good stuff. I decided not to go snowboarding or skiing pre-event because I would probably not be here otherwise. Because you know what I'm like. I, by the way, fell over in the street today.
That's why he's not going to go snowboarding.
It was like something out of Looney Tunes. It was
he
like
cannot be trusted, but it is a beautiful place. I mean, the culture, like, how polite everyone is, how clean everything is. It is a breath of fresh air.
Food is
quite literally.
phenomenal.
Food, unbelievable.
Oh my God, the food is good.
Finally, I'm putting on some weight as I'm here
That's
because
right,
I can actually eat a bunch of good food that I enjoy. And yeah, I just love the place.
I'm losing weight because the food's really healthy.
Also
I'm still eating a lot of it, but like it's just it's really healthy. We're walking everywhere. It's a great place to be, and we're very thankful, of course, to be back here again for Champs. But let's talk about Apex now. Let's refocus on what we've got to talk about here because we've got another game of Storm Point coming our way. 2 games already done, and we're really starting to get into the situation where teams are going to be looking at those little devices on their desks. I just sounded 50 years old saying that, but I don't know what brand deals we have in place, Dan, so I'm trying to be smart about it. The little smart tablets, I believe they're known as, and looking at the points total and what they've got to do, essentially, working out how they have to approach these games. And I think that the spanner in the works a little bit here is the fact that we've got one more game of Storm Point that everyone's very comfortable on, but then we move on to Olympus, which coming into this event is a bit of an unknown compared to all the other maps. The fact that it hasn't even been played on LAN yet, so there's that to take into consideration as well for some of these teams of like, how do the games in comparison to scrims play out? It is a really interesting set to decide how our winners bracket and our elimination bracket is going to look.
Yeah, with 4 games still left, the cutoff currently being 94 points. 12 teams who are currently still playing right now are outside of those top 20. I think that cutoff, we might be going up to about 100, which, you know, I've said that before, and then sometimes it ends up being about 97, and it's going to be SYRALE who are going to be looking at this one, saying, we're at 98 points, we have no more games now, are we even safe? Well, maybe no one is safe at this point, and still plenty to play for. You know who isn't safe? Caustic. He is banned,
son.
he is out, and that means we will have a very different match 3 here on Storm.
I'm going to get Jaguaris to right foot him in the head, like he did in that previous game. That's what's going to happen. Why do I don't even hate Caustic that much. It's really fun to play.
I've heard that
I've just decided for some reason I'm going to be his arch nemesis.
I've heard you've never played Caustic in your life because you refuse to, because you feel like you are better than that.
I have
you say.
Probably a grand total of like 9 games on him. I'm one of those people. I'm not playing that.
He's a purist, everyone. He doesn't like to be a gassy boy and sit in a building, but I sure as hell do. Here we go. Match 3 is underway here on Storm Point. And will we see anyone step up to the plate to try and change their destiny going into the winners bracket or the elimination bracket? Because all you need, for me, is one big game, and then suddenly you are right back into that conversation of the top 20.
Yes, indeed. Let's see what happens there. Supernova going to be on our screens. 40 points from 2 games. Not too shabby, gentlemen. Not too shabby. Looking pretty good for them. As far as the zone is concerned, we are going down towards Cito Station, maybe towards the waterfall just outside of it on that low ground. So for teams like Citadel Gaming, who have had a pretty slow start, I would say, the first 2 games by the standards they set yesterday, and Oblivion, who'd land over at Jurassic, who also have a ring console, they're going to feel pretty confident they're getting some good prio positions here for where this zone is going to end up.
I'm going to keep a keen eye on Crazy Thieves on their rotation as well for this one, because they have a relatively good pathing to get into a good position for this zone, but at the same time, because they're lacking confidence, what happens with how they move? As you can see, Aurora already taking a fight here against VK Gaming. VK Gaming yet to find a point so far in this series.
Yeah, mid-season playoff champions. They just don't look like that right now. You know, it's been one of the most consistent teams this season. Not looking like that right now. It's looking, if they continue on this form, to be an elimination bracket run and maybe facing elimination before even getting to a match point final. It's looking like a long, long road for them. And I mentioned Citadel Gaming and how they have great priority to this zone. Well, they've just lost Zuni. He's just been knocked, so they're going to have to look for a respawn here. Or should I say a res, excuse me. They've got it back up already.
It is worth noting, of course, that VK Gaming did play without QQ throughout Split 2. And I think that it's just about getting back together and kind of filing that rhythm once more. So maybe the best thing for them is being in the elimination bracket and maybe having a couple of easier games in an easier lobby for them to work with.
Well, Aurora are picking up some more kills over at Mill. I think they've got 2 of them. I'm not sure if one member of VK Gaming has managed to get away. Keeping our eyes on Crazy Thieves as well, by the way. They might have just found that remaining member of VK Gaming. You can see that just on the southern side of Mill, on the left-hand side of your map overhead. But you can also see where everybody's stacked up right now, where that zone is going to be going. I would expect a lot of teams on this eastern side of the map as well, Dan, to be moving through Jurassic to hit that ring console a little bit later. The fact that you've got a ring console and you've got a survey beacon means you can get a lot of information late in this game.
I would agree with you, and I think it was a very wise decision from Crazy Thieves to ignore the VK Gaming solo as well. You can sometimes be distracted by a solo that is going to arrive. and he does change everything. You think, well, you know, should we go for the KP? We haven't got much points yet, but no, the plan was in action. Continue your rotation, continue to get info from Barometer, and now they will move into zone. Well, VK Gaming back as a full 3. So it's not all doom and gloom for them just yet.
Supernova wins the game number 2, getting EMP'd. Taking a little bit of damage. Be a Stinger Bolt going down more in a defensive capacity than anything else. It looks like Supernova will be safe enough here on the wall side. And we'll hold off the initial wrap coming in from Legacy. So Supernova moving down from the northern side. Interesting way to approach this actually from Supernova. A little bit less Valkyrie in the lobby than we'd seen previously from some of these teams. Grow Gaming, who had a very good previous game as well. Some good KP actually coming out with the most points in the lobby. Now moved into a very strong position inside of CO here. So this is a really good rotate actually coming in from them. Done a great job to get all the way from their initial drop to where they find themselves right now. And with how their ability to hold things down has been so far in this game, it wouldn't surprise me to see them do something similar. No Caustic though, no Newcastle. It's a little bit different with this composition.
Yeah, that's why we see less Valkyrie, because without the Newcastle and without the Caustic, it's not as easy to just plop yourself into zone and hope you can just create some sort of fortress. Now, typically we do see more Rampart coming into the equation here, but again, it takes longer to build your fortress with a Rampart. But we are seeing 13 altars in this game. That is going to be banned going into match 4, so we're not going to have any altar going into Olympus, but I think that might be a good thing that Rampart survives for a lot of these teams going into Olympus, because one thing Olympus lacks is cover in certain areas. So as much buildable cover you can have going into those maps is going to be better, and I imagine that Rampart probably gets banned match 4, but we'll wait and see what happens there.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting match 5 and 6 when we look at what's banned and what's available, and the fact that Olympus, like you say, sometimes doesn't offer the amount of cover and I would say playable spots in endgame to play early compared to some of the other maps that we have in the rotation. A very different feel to Olympus in comparison to some of the maps that we have that are more established in the Apex Legends Global Series. So a lot of points potentially available for teams who want to be aggressive when we get there.
Did make me laugh that everyone was like, get rid of Broken Moon. All the pros were like, we hate Broken Moon.
I would also say that. I was saying that.
They moved Broken Moon out, brought Olympus in, and everyone was like, can we bring Broken Moon back? There's definitely like a clear 50-50 divide at the moment between pro players and which map they prefer. Anyway, on the line, you can see the current standings, what that cutoff is. 94 points for Wolves Esports, who are still playing. If they're in blue, it means they've played all their games. They will not be playing any more today. If they're in white, it means they are still continuing with games. So Boogie Borders, for example, if they were to win a game, suddenly they would shoot themselves up into the top 20.
Careful, Panna. Careful, he was. He's going to have overflow as well, so just popping that shield cell is going to be enough for him to get that health regenerating nice and quickly. In the kill feed, you can see the Blast is doing exactly that with the charge rifle in his hands, and Synap is on the receiving end of it. And he's going to get the finish as well, so nice shots coming in from him and able to convert it into a point for GG, the winners of your game number 1. NIP now on your screens. They're playing on the northeastern side of where this zone is, just on the bottom of the zipline building outside of Cascade. We take our attention now to a fight that's breaking out and is completely isolated over at Checkpoint. It's going to be Legacy versus Alliance here. But Effect just got absolutely belted by Neasel. Beautiful shots coming in from that R9. If you're taking down Effect in that kind of a fight, you're probably hitting some pretty good shots.
Well, Unlucky is still there
now. Neasel versus Unlucky. Oh! Alliance eliminated. Neasel with a beautiful shot with the triple take. He's going to win that one for Legacy, and Alliance will fall first. That's the Red Bull first strike.
And Neasel worth his weight in gold at the moment. I mean, Unlucky, even in a 1 versus 2, you can still back him there, especially after he gets that first knock. But Neasel stays calm, holds his ground, and Legacy will survive. And those extra points going to be very important for Legacy. They start to send themselves up the leaderboard now, up into 13th in the overalls in this tournament. But Alliance have not found their footing yet in Storm Point. But remember, they did pick Olympus on the POI draft. That was the map they've prioritized in this series.
That was a nasty, nasty shot from Neasel. It just felt like with the way that Unlucky just quickly turned that into a 1v1, it was like, oh, he's going to be able to reload here. And with a triple take in hand versus an R9 after hitting a spray like that, you almost felt like the momentum had swung back the way of Alliance and Unlucky. But Neasel just all sorts of confidence to hit the shot with a triple take. to win that one for Legacy. Elsewhere, though, we move ourselves just to the north side of Jurassic, to the broken fences that enter into the POI. Ninjas in Pyjamas get the jump here on KINOTROPE Gaming. That's going to be the first start going their way, and McLovin is doing what he does best, and that is mowing down players with a fake ID. That sentence made no sense.
No, it does if you have watched the film.
Do you know
so
what?
don't worry.
I don't think it does.
You didn't have to explain yourself. NIP are one of those teams who are outside of the top 20 right now, though. They are away from the cutoff by about 23 points, so still a job to do in these next 4 matches, but a team that I would have expected to be in the winners bracket, if I'm being honest. So we'll have to see whether they can complete that task, or maybe they will fall into that elimination bracket come tomorrow's matches. So now they're approaching GoNext, and we're going to get a little bit of action on our screen.
An incredible spray coming in from Kurev. My goodness. Beautiful stuff. Trying to get the finish before they go through that queue. And now he's looking to chase them down and feeling all sorts of confidence. And why wouldn't you? Boy, Nexus is going to be taken here. And you have to wonder if Ninjas in Pyjamas are feeling a little bit saucy here and thinking about taking it themselves to take down these final members to get that KP on board. And it looks like they're thinking about it, but maybe deciding not to do it this time around. We're going to take a look back at the Red Bull first strike, though, of the game. As we saw Alliance versus Legacy going down, and this is the POV of Unlucky, the one that we missed.
And you can see on the altar, he already knew one player was weak, and actually that initial clip, but look how close he would have been, and in the end, he also whipped out a single fire weapon as well. Didn't opt to go for the reload, but it was a fantastic chance for Unlucky to try and do something special in a 1v2 for our Red Bull first strike. GoNext have now respawned, kinda. VKG, QQ has fallen, and it is just bad news after bad news for VK Gaming.
Yeah, not looking good for them at the moment. QQ just performed a magic trick and turned himself into a death box. Usually, if you're a magician, though, you're able to turn yourself back into whatever it was you started with, and I don't think he's going to be able to do so without some help coming in from Qadsiah, who's last alive here. Double Moses for him to work with. Does have a respawn beacon in the back pocket, though, so there is an opportunity for them to reset as NIP continue in and around Jurassic here, moving down that southern side. GoNext is just behind them, though.
Not a single point yet for VK, though. I mean, we've seen this historically sometimes where a team goes on to win a LAN and then they come back and they just look like a completely different squad, a shell of themselves. Reject Winity, kind of a similar situation happened with them as well. And it does beg the question of, you know, once you find that success, does the practice then start to drop a little bit? We saw, well, I mean, QQ wasn't playing for one, so a very different situation for them.
Practice certainly dropped off.
Yeah, it certainly changed. But there's still plenty of the tournament left. It's not the end of the world if you find yourself in that elimination bracket. We've seen teams go from elimination bracket and then still find themselves in a good position going into Sunday for championship finals.
Yes. Something we highlighted a little bit earlier. Nobody going to be eliminated right now, but teams are certainly going to have their fates kind of made easier or more difficult depending on how these games go in groups. Ninjas in Pyjamas and McLovin dancing through a couple of ult queues right now. The Void Passage is going to go back through himself. Now he's looking to take down Henchman. That alternator really is strong, and when that thing gets up to having double tap available, it can be a real difference maker. Ninjas in Pyjamas, by the way, are fighting exceptionally well in this game, and that momentum from those fights seems to be just continuing. Every single engagement they're taking at the moment seems to be going their way.
I think the alternator has been the surprise of the tournament so far for a lot of players, fans, viewers alike.
Viewers, yeah, for sure.
Maybe not expecting it to be the kind of power that we've seen so far.
I mean, you look at clip size, that's a big thing as well. Distance that it does damage, it can be pretty consistent, and then when you get that double tap available, it can become very, very strong towards the end game. It could just rip away at health so quickly, and I think it's certainly, like you say, it's finding a niche for a lot of these players that is working in these kind of lobbies. By the way, kind of somehow still alive for GoNext. And on the Crypto is going to be able to bring his teammates back into the game. So GoNext still a part of this one as we have 19 squads still remaining, by the way.
Yeah, just Alliance having to watch from the wings at the moment. It's worth noting, with these early exits for Alliance, they do find themselves falling down to 10th in the overalls at the moment. And POI draft again coming into the equation for that winners bracket. Alliance will need to pick it up if they want to have a good POI going into winners bracket side of things.
Ninjas in Pyjamas continuing to fight, continuing to win them as well. Correct sprays, by the way, with the R9 on M&K are superb in this game. And it feels like the momentum and the aggression coming out from NIP is something very difficult to stop. Something I just want to highlight, by the way. One team we've been focusing on for all the wrong reasons, Crazy Thieves, they have a fantastic position in this zone. They are bang center in one of the only buildings available. So Crazy Thieves really have a chance to make something happen in this game 3.
I think NIP are going to find themselves in the winners bracket just killing GoNext at this rate. They just keep killing them and killing them. But now Wolves Esports getting involved in this little scuffle and saying, actually, we want to maybe get involved and take away some of these KP from you.
Oh, the drone gets broken. Does it get broken before the EMP comes off? Yes, it does. That's going to give Wolves a little bit more of a chance in this fight. Now, armor disadvantage certainly isn't in the favor of Wolves. They've got blues, but with the damage they are doing, they might have a chance to turn this one in their favor. GG have been eliminated in the meantime, so no real big points for them in this game number 3. As this fight will continue to elongate, and finally the first knock will go the way of NIP. That's going to be No Name who goes down, but NIP will finally be eliminated. It's a combination of teams who actually contribute to this down on the Jurassic side. You've got GoNext, Wolves Esports, RRQ here, Supernova, all looking at this down.
Wolves Esports eliminated. Remember, they were our bubble team and still are our bubble team, but finding one extra point pushes that bubble number, that cutoff number, to 95 now. Still with 3 matches remain. SBI Esports looking to see whether they can push up on Oblivion right now. We're kind of stuck in this pyramid building. GoNext have just been finally eliminated. Kind of doesn't get away for the 14th time. That was an exaggeration.
14th time
FYI.
too many. That classic saying. Not going to be true this time around. Oblivion, who were involved in that top 3 scenario in our previous games, are in a pretty good position, but will have to rotate. By the way, somehow VKG got up to I was going to say, back up to a 3. Sentinels eliminated, and VKG could be back down to a 1 in just a few seconds, thanks to Sheila. Enforce 36 want to push this, and why wouldn't you? LQ's going to go down surely in a few seconds' time just to watch this kill on the rampart.
Extra KP for Enforce 36. Meanwhile, some big fights happening on the edge at the moment. Mango versus Gaimin competing on the northwest. KINOTROPE versus Enforce 36 on the northeast. And then the southeast, you got Supernova versus RRQ. All fights that are going to influence this endgame because those areas are going to then be dominated by that one team.
Aurora have been eliminated in the meantime, and Team Mango will be next. We're approaching half the lobby, who are watching in the spectator mode. SBI Esports will go next as Enforce 36 is looking to take down the final members of KINOTROPE Gaming as we find ourselves now with the half of the lobby gone. Enforce 36, by the way, now just as a solo, but done so much good work as a duo in those last few moments.
You can see from the overhead here, Crazy Thieves still alive. Supernova also putting more points on the board as Enforce 36 get eliminated. Now down to 9 squads. VK Gaming still have a solo. No, they don't. Just been eliminated as of RRQ. 7 squads now, dropping like flies. And now no one is in the final circle. Legacy are right on the edge, as are Oblivion. But apart from that, everyone else is outside of it, still has a job to do here.
Boogie Board is down on the low ground, playing underneath the position of Crazy Thieves. Oblivion playing right next to them. And all of these teams will have to rotate, with Citadel Gaming overlooking all of these teams as well, from a distance that is a little bit uncomfortable for all of the previously aforementioned teams to deal with. Big moment here for Crazy Thieves. 15th in the lobby overall, only 10 points from the first 2 games. As we look on the right-hand side of your screen, once again, where that top 20 is.
And just to put it in perspective, Crazy Thieves are 44 points away from Wolves Esports right now. So this game is almost a must-win already if they want to find themselves in the winners bracket. And even a win wouldn't put them in the top 20. Most likely they need 2 wins, if not 2 big games, for their chances of getting into that winner's side. Boogie Boarders, though, do have the Kraber. They are in a position where they could potentially do some damage to these teams that are coming from that other side as well. And Crazy Thieves have moved, or at least 2 of them have, trying to reposition and find themselves into a better spot for this endgame.
Yeah, Verhulst has just gone down, though. I don't know if he didn't get to jump onto the Valcon. We'll have to watch that back in the VODs to see exactly what happened. But for Crazy Thieves, they're inside the top 7 at least. You were talking about big games. Well, this man's still got a big gun in his back pocket. It's going to be the Kraber still available as Crazy Thieves will fall Is that a mistake for them? We'll have to go back and watch it. Legacy will fall as well. We're into our top 5.
Boogie Borders now up into the sky. Can they find any playable space? They are going to get a lot of information. Jumping on a team that's fighting is always a good decision to make here.
They want to take this KP. They want a third party. This is Oblivion, who are going to fall probably after Citadel Gaming. Monsoon last alive. He'll go down as well. Beautiful decision-making coming out of the Boogie Borders. And the Cravers still in the hands of Raki here.
And who's still alive? Supernova still alive. Could it be another victory for the EMEA squad? Boogie Borders, Grow Gaming, the other 2 teams, but Boogie Borders just a 2.
Oh my! Raki doing some big work. Goes for the no-scope himself. Panna's going to be last alive, though. With barely any HP to work with, he'll go down. It's a 3v3, but Supernova moving in, just cleaning up the final remaining member of Grow Gaming, and it's back-to-back for Supernova. They are looking deadly in this lobby.
I mean, at the pace that Supernova are currently setting, they are looking to try and jump up to maybe even top 3 in these overall leaderboards for an incredible position in that POI draft. They have made a big statement in Storm Point here, and you can see the reaction from them as well. They've been enjoying it thus far. Again, it's just a cheeky little grin from Hardeki.
Rubs his hands together like, who's next?
Who is next?
Who is next?
They are such an interesting team, a team full of characters for sure, but one thing they're bloody good at is Apex Legends.
Yeah, 2 back-to-back wins for them. You can't argue with it. Really are performing well. It's 10 KP alongside the placement points they get from that first place as well. Almost a copy and paste from the previous top 2, with Grow Gaming coming in 2nd place. Once again, very, very impressive stuff from those respective teams. I do need to go back and watch that Crazy Thieves play, though. I don't know what happened. Like, Verhulst was left behind where the Valcolt went off. I don't know if it's a play call or a mistake. We can only speculate.
It might have even been that Verhulst gets knocked and then they panic and go up into the sky to get, not even panic.
We need to watch it. Yeah. We don't know what happened in that situation, but it felt like they were in a great spot to finally have a great game, and something didn't go right for them. They do get 5 KP on the board, but a few more placement points wouldn't have gone amiss. But again, you look at the top, it's the Supernova show. It's 22 points from that game number 3.
Yeah, it puts them up into the 60s now after just 3 matches. And as I said, if they keep up this pace, actually, dare I say it, if they keep up this pace, they might even take the number 1 spot going into the POI draft, because I believe they are 44 points behind Falcons, and if they can find 60 from 3, who says they can't find another 60 from the next 3?
Yeah, not only handsome Dan Gaskin, he's daring as well, everybody. He's daring as well. Daring Dan Gaskin. Oh,
Dashing,
I found your wrestling
daring
name.
And
I found your wrestling name. This is how things look, though, at the end of game number 3 in our series results. Supernova, like you say, on top of the leaderboard, 62 points. A chasm between them and Grow Gaming after Storm Point is finalized here. 39 points for Grow Gaming, but behind that, I mean, it's pretty close. You look outside of, like, I'd say Grow Gaming, maybe Boogie Borders. Look at the point differential between 20th with VK Gaming and 4th place. I mean, it's very, very close, and with 3 games remaining, Dan, it really can change. And you throw in the unpredictability of Olympus as well. This could be a very fun 3 games to watch. So if you're thinking about doing something else in the meantime, or you're thinking about going to bed wherever you are in the world, don't, or I'll come after you.
And you don't want that. Mark is a very scary man. Now, just to set the pace as well, 95 points, currently the cutoff. Still 3 matches remain. Boogie Borders behind Wolves Esports on 92. So we are going to see teams start to surpass that 95 number, and I think we're going to get into the hundreds in terms of this cutoff, and that is very worrying for a couple of those teams who are already sitting and probably thought they were going to be sitting pretty. Alas, they might be biting their nails a little bit in these next 3 matches.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be a very interesting 3 matches, and to queue us up for what's going to happen in those 3 matches and look back on what we just saw on Storm Point, we're going to send it over to these wonderful people on the desk. Hi, desk. Hi, desk.
Hello. Hi, desk.
Hello. Great job casting, guys. Now you're also part of the desk.
Hi, desk.
Fantastic job, as always, on set. And Gaskin getting us through those first 3 matches, and now it's time to start talking about it because, you know, they've mentioned it a couple times. This is the last series of group stage. Those are the first 3 matches. We're now down to the last 3. That bubble conversation is really going to start coming up a lot more as our teams are starting to get closer and closer to being done with this stage of the competition. So we're going to take an opportunity now to take a look back at some of those moments from our first 3 matches. Dia, I will start with you because right out the gate, it was a duo on GG.
I was so passionate about this final circle, Glitter. This was especially painful to watch, especially if you were a Team Mango fan, because Team Mango also put a Newcastle wall out here, but it was GG that everyone, maybe it was because they were a duo, maybe, I don't know, they were just playing small. Everybody seemed to ignore them, and even up until the final circle, you could really tell that's true. There's so much focus on this fence line that Sentinels played really early that GG take advantage of that focus, and they play small, end up winning the game.
I mean, here for match 2, however, not even talking about the last game, this game, Supernova already stepping up very drastically. We saw them here with 32 points in first place, already blowing absolutely everybody up from the height of this building, actually. It came down to the last cleanup, but let's be completely honest, they just steamrolled.
I mean, and it wasn't about to stop here, right? Okay, Tiff, it continued on into match number 3.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that have been consistent with these end games, and Supernova being in them is one of them. And now it's kind of interesting because after they had claimed so much space for them, they don't even have to fight, and they just basically wait for the other two teams on the other side to jump onto each other. You bide your time. You've got the G7 Scout. You can cover distance that way. You have the smoke that you can send on out, cover the gap, clean it on in, and it's one nice swing from Hardeki, and the game is over. It's magnificent.
This was a particularly difficult game to watch in some ways as well, because Game 3 had a really similar zone pull to what we saw earlier in the day, where it was really clear that we were going just south of Jurassic, just north of Barometer, but there was a counter pull that happened halfway through that made some teams that had set themselves up on the south side believe that we were going back up north to the center of Cito. And if you watch that tape back, in the map feed, you'll notice a lot of squads give up positions that might have otherwise won them the game in favor of an end zone that didn't end up existing.
And all of those points are always so important in this competition, specifically when it comes to Apex Legends and how everything works, because you never know if 1 point is going to be what makes or breaks your position on that leaderboard. And that's where we're really going to be focusing in now as we start to set the stakes for where we're at in the competition, because, you know, the casters are mentioning it too, Tiff, that bubble, people are going to really start paying attention to where they are in relation to it.
Yeah, you really have to, especially if you want to make it into that winner's bracket. It kind of gives you that extra pad going into the bracket stage, because if you fall out twice, you have that safety net, right? You go on to that final round to get into match point finals on Sunday. But if you start out in elims, it's like a bloodbath trying to recover. And plus, it's exhausting having an extra series and to play on top of everything else.
Yeah, we'll take a look at those overall standings right now so we can kind of get a feel for where everyone is now that we are at this point of the competition. Got to take a look at this a little bit earlier as well. And I want to take a peek at some of the bigger names on the second portion of these columns here, Graceful, because Alliance would definitely like to be, I think, a little bit higher up than where they are right now.
Yeah, most definitely. It might have had a really slow start, but we also saw this previously where they only had 2 really big games and 4 kind of okay-ish games, or even subpar, I would say. So seeing that trend, I think they're more than happy that they had such a, earlier on, a lot of points. However, you know, we saw Aurora here as well. They're on the bottom, on the bottom almost, where now you have to get 2 or 3 good games essentially, or you're gonna find yourself in that lower area.
Right, and we're talking about that bubble. Everyone was saying between 90 and 95 points heading into this, and you can see Wolves in 20th at 95. Boogie Borders right behind that at 92, Dia. So, you know, it's looking like it might even be a little bit higher than that.
I mean, I'm looking at my boys Sentinels, and I'm thinking 65 points right now. That you have to put up 3 huge games in order to make it up to the top 20, and that's even more difficult when you look down at teams like the Crazy Thieves.
I mean, and you said it as well, 95 total points is the current cutoff. It's only going to go up. I think we have seen 105 before. So the higher it goes, the more risky it becomes for teams that haven't had as many points. And when it goes down to it, there's only so many points that can go around.
Yeah, and, you know, we'll just take a quick look at those stats out of Alliance as well. Those are where they finished here in those first 3 matches. I think they'd like to improve on that for the last 3 when it comes to this series, and just kind of finish a little bit on a high note there, Tiff.
Yeah, it's definitely not the best series coming out of them, but that's okay, right? So I start to think about where they're starting in relation, because as we move on to Olympus, right? This will be the first time we get to see them on the main stage playing Olympus, and maybe Unlucky was so tired from doing all those birthday push-ups that he couldn't lock it in on the controller. I don't know, but it's time to focus on up. They were my prediction as well as many of others, and right now my points are starting to hurt.
you know what, we're gonna have to see if they can bounce back and see how that does for everybody else. Tiff's lying. She's in first place right now with those points, so her points are just fine. But it's time for something that we teased yesterday, and I personally have really been looking forward to this because obviously everybody comes here for Apex. That is the entire point, our players included. Yu-Gi-Oh, however, came here prepared for a different type of Apex game. Some would argue the real Apex games. Check it out.
Yu-Gi-Oh!
日本ではだるま落としという昔遊びがあります。皆さんにはこちらのハンマーを使ってもらって、手を使わずにこのだるまを落とさずにブロックを落としていってもらいます。このように。それではグッドラック。
Oh, I already knocked this off.
Oh god.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, I'm going. Oh, I'm gonna do it first try.
No, not that early.
What? How are you gonna go get your top piece? Gotta run around.
No. This is GG.
Yeah, you don't have aim assist here. Oh, okay. That sounded like he had it. I can do the tablecloth thing, like if I pull the tablecloth.
Oh my god.
Dude, I have no idea what I did on that first round.
Oh. Oh my god. Unbelievable. I was gonna mess you up. But that was first try, by the way. It was like 5 minutes.
Yeah, I was getting nervous or taking long.
I know, me too. Oh, W.
最初のゲーム、だるま落としの勝者は全員くん。なかなかやるみたいやね。おめでとう全員くん。これはユキオのリアルエイペックスゲームでした。
We saw that was not as easy as Yu-Gi-Oh made it look right at the beginning of that video. You can see we actually have brought out the games here for some of our analysts. It's called Daruma Otoshi. That's what the game that they were playing. I'm going to slide this on over to Graceful in case he wants to opt to participate. Dia has been waiting all day to show us his skills, so we're going to dive straight into this, Dia.
I saw how easy he made that look. I'm pretty sure this is free, guys.
You, you also saw everybody else's strats, so take the hammer out of the tower.
However, put your digital note-taking devices away, because I don't have that kind of cash.
You're gonna get an opportunity here to test that out. If you'd like to join in, Graceful, you're more than welcome to. Tiff is taking cover just in case, so we're gonna see if you were able to learn anything from that.
Wait, that's a line of fire. That's a line of fire.
I got this.
No, okay.
I don't got this.
He doesn't have it. He doesn't have it. First try.
It wasn't free. It wasn't free.
Wow. Okay, well, you know what? You did your best. I'm gonna bring. Wow. It's harder than it looks, and that's what happens when the analysts are the ones trying to do the game.
The competitive side of me would like to point out that I did better than that.
That was embarrassing.
I did that just for you. I did that just for you so that you could look better at the game than I ever will be. And speaking of people that are better at the game than I ever will be, it's time for us to start looking towards our players because we still have 3 more games to get into, okay? We're almost done with this series, but we have to see how everybody fares on Olympus, like Tiff was talking about. Exciting to see this up on the main stage for the first time as well. So we're going to send it back on over to our casters to close us out in the series. Vicky, Genome, let's finish out the group stage.
Thank you so much, Glitter. I get to see Dia having fun over there. I just see the very top. Yeah, fun.
He's crying right now. Like someone's bringing him a box of tissues as we speak.
Yeah, man, it's so funny because then you get to see the one walk of shame of the very topper part just drop to the very front of the desk. I love it here in Sapporo, guys. Welcome to the ALGS Championship, and we are down to our final 3 games in the group stages. And at the moment, you know, Supernova, they're going pretty explosive right now. I mean, it's a smashing time for them, but it's even better time to see how consistent they could bring those results into what I'm so excited to cast over, Olympus.
Olympus on land. We've already seen it once so far today, and I am so excited to be casting these last 3 games where we'll get to see whatever shenanigans we get to see that we've had. I mean, you know, we saw one of those Rift finishes, which is always fun. You know, the FaZe runner in particular. I mean, usually when you're in ranked, it's just like I'll just, you know, press the big red button and get out of here kind of
escape path. But I can tell you, having talked to some of the teams, they have strategized around this. There are ways that you can use this that you guys have never even considered.
I want to see that happen. We got to. When we go on to Olympus, everybody, as we take a look at the POI drafts, and for those of you guys that have been grinding out Wildcard, having fun during the event, and maybe getting a glimpse of what you can expect when it comes to loading into Olympus with none of the zipline shenanigans or the gravity cannons here, just loading into the new version of Olympus has been fantastic. Even better to see how a lot of our pro players have played it out within scrims and now going into this final end of group stages.
Yeah, a couple of POIs unpicked. Stabilizer to the northwest has been not selected, as well as Elysium, which of course is down near Alliance with Summers University, and in between them and Oblivion sitting at Icarus. So, look, this is still evolving. Definitely having, you know, spoken to people about why they chose certain POIs. There'll be quite a few different reasons they'll give you, because there's just so much to learn about this map at a competitive level. It hasn't been pushed to its limits yet. We're going to start to see that happen here.
And then you get to juggle the tridents into place as we get loaded in to game number 4, groups A versus D. Finally underway, but even better to note here, Gino, is looking at the cutoff, right? We were expecting 90 points or so, and if you look at that cusp, these teams, they've been farming, and I know that you specifically have been watching Boogie Borders and where they're currently situated in 21st as a team.
Absolutely, those guys are rocking it. Interestingly as well, they were, look, I'm not going to spoil it unless we actually see it from them. If anyone was watching the APAC South Regional Final, I'll give you that hint. There was some interesting composition choices by Boogie Borders that actually got them a host of points in the first few games. They haven't decided to bring it out yet. I am actually wondering if it's because they've done so well so far, right? They've got 30 points already. They are up to 92 points overall. That means they only need probably somewhere in the realm of 8 to 10 points to be completely safe. And I think at this point, they just want to lock it in. I think they've said, no, look, let's not meme. You know, let's be really serious about this composition and play it forward. So interesting to see that what they told me just mere minutes ago when I was up there on the stage has actually changed. That said, we've got a couple of interesting picks, quite a few Seers in here. One of the first fuses of the tournament we're seeing coming out from Wolves. And Alliance have even gone for the Pathfinder.
Oh my, the Pathy coming out, Alliance showing up, but even better is this where this zone is going to be pooling specifically. Over here, right on top of Sentinels and Citadel. Gaimin already making their way. Everybody has now navigated their way out of Grow Towers, where there is a ring console as well. But if you take a look at Gardens and even GoNext, who land in Clinic, I mean, they're going to be able to put on a Clinic because E36 are trying to join in on that fight. GoNext are still up on the high ground. Cannon in the feed is going to be able to get that knock onto E36. And now it's only down to 1. Synap is literally 1 shot, and they know exactly where he is with the Crypto Drone.
He's going to have time to get a med kit off. Does he even want to do that? Into the void, not available. Doesn't have the tack to try and get out of there, but it looks like he won't be chased, actually. And he might have a chance to get down to maybe Grow Towers or Summers University for the respawn effort. Meanwhile, GoNext are letting the Sheila rip here. They're sieging the little disco room underneath Clinic. Gold loot most likely has already been taken, but they still want it as a staging ground.
It's great to be able to rotate into that next zone from this spot as long as you clear your backs, but we keep seeing everybody getting knocked in the feed. VK Gaming getting a trade-off. 1 for 1 though, and it's the Mad Maggie that's out. Mozam's in hand, Nemesis as a secondary. You can see that with the Wrecking Ball blowing up, it's gonna be able to get the finishing blow. So that one player from Noel Sang, and now just trying to see if they can get that reset, but they're not alone here. Alliance on the other side of the map, going through Grow Towers, are on a trident of their own. It's only one. It's going to be Hockeys who are going to be able to also upgrade those weapons, utilizing those energy arsenals.
I mean, those guys are going to be stacked. Not only do you usually get, I don't know, like 10 amps spawning at Summers University, the loot there is ridiculous. But as we said, they were split looting Summers University and Elysium at the start of the game. Yet again, Alliance managed to net themselves a dual POI. They are the best team in the game at metagaming the draft. and trying to make sure that they have as many resources available to them as possible.
Legacy 2, a team that I obviously had my eyes on to see how they've been able to perform throughout this group. Do or die situation for some of these teams. A survey beacon was scanned out in the distance, could have been remote here with the amount of cryptos that we have in this lobby. Tied, by the way, with Bangalore, 10-10 apiece to see who will be getting banned in that next game. But looking at the zone, as we've already highlighted before, look at how congested not even just the north side is, but if you look at Gravity Engine, where there is usually a beacon, survey beacon specifically, you could guess what rotation spots are you going to have, right? Going into specifically Gardens is going to be incredibly difficult, especially if you don't have a rotational legend, which is why it's also important to note the teams that are rocking the Valkyrie. Henchman gets the next knock onto Bulls. GoNext.
Too easy.
Yeah, they were able to find KINOTROPE Gaming, which is incredibly important. Them going down first in this entire lobby was GoNext taking their time to pick this fight apart. And they're the only team now left in Clinic.
Yeah, that's the other interesting part, right? Certainly most teams seem to be reading this as probably a Gardens zone. That's why, you know, people aren't just piling into where GoNext are right now. Most of them taking positions up in Gardens, but also below down in Grow Towers. And it looks like there is even a bit of congestion up towards the Rift as well, where we're seeing Legacy soon to be pushing south from.
I do like this rotation, though. When you go over to that north side, they're going to take the evac tower, as Yanya does not have that Valkyrie ult, but it's still going to be able to have Yanya take the lead to get that information with the scan, having that blue Evo shield. But once they are approaching this north side, there is a team waiting in the vicinity, a team that has gotten first twice and second another time. It is Supernova who can look at them from afar, but they're also busy with teams to their backs. Legacy decide to wrap around, and I like this rotation because we do sometimes see the zone pull slightly over to the north side, but it will be difficult to get through GoNext, who will hold one end of the zone if they decide to rotate in the far east side.
So Boogie Borders, who decided to go for that decidedly more passive composition with the Watson, the Valkyrie, and the Bangalore, don't get a zone anywhere near them. So unfortunately, that gambit has not paid off, or at least not yet. We'll see. Maybe they'll get into a late game position where, you know, the pylon, the interception pylon comes in clutch, but it is hard to make your way in with, you know, the less aggressive tools that you might have had you gone for, you know, followed their APAC South brethren and you know, maybe hit something crazy like Gen.G.
Or will it fold here? Seeing how some of these teams have already positioned themselves and are kind of stuck on the edge of the zone, getting that information with that crypto drone flying to the skies. You can see Legacy drifting back as they are one of those squads with that crypto drone just to get that information. But what I do find very interesting, looking at the teams that have already played on Olympus Genome, is the utilization of Sparrow. Although scarce, we've been seeing a little bit of Sparrow when it comes to Olympus. Don't really see it out here specifically, but it's important.
We've got one on Supernova at the moment for Qadsiah. You know, people have called Kurev a one-trick Sparrow. And, I mean, you can see why. After the nerfs, he was a lot less powerful. They took so much health, particularly, out of his ultimate, that it just made him less of an aggressive and defensive threat. I guess the other big change was that you get stunned yourself if you're within the radius. Those two changes really reduced how you know, helpful he was as a hero, but you are still seeing a couple of teams run him.
Yeah, it's crazy too, because it's about getting that information. Also, the influx of Wraith, and still seeing a lot of the Watsons in this lobby, despite expecting the amount of cryptos that we have here. Again, 10 cryptos, 10 Bangalores.
Yeah, I guess the other thing to note about the Sparrow pick is it was a lot of those teams who were saying, we've got 3 strong fraggers, and we want all of them to be active in the fight. We don't want a crypto player sitting in drone. We want you all fragging out. However, most of those teams have now switched over to Seer if they want to go for a more fragging composition with 3 players in the fray.
And you can see Monsoon being on that Seer right there. Gonna be able to get some information here. Seer himself has gone through some changes. Been interesting to see how he could glide within his own ultimate here, trying to make some plays, but it's mostly for that information. Seeing Hockeys, by the way, on Pathfinder, it's almost like my soul is healing. Being able to see Pathy out and about, But it's not a game of wildcard, it's not pubs, and it's not your Olympus rank games. It's Boogie Borders stuck inside this house, over in the chaos of Gardens. He's trying to stay alive, and Gaimin Gladiators, they pick that up, and they eliminate Boogie Borders from the lobby.
See, just a little bit of hesitation there. Probably could have got the res off there, but stops, tries again, and by that time, the swing is already in. Boogie Borders will go down. They get... Did they grab any points here in match 4? Let me just double check. It was 1. A single point. Look, anything at this point, frankly, you'll take. As we said, it was only 8 to 10. Every little point will reduce it. We have had tiebreakers on who makes it into winners and losers before. It has happened.
It's so scary. You don't want to be on that cusp, as we see a res happening, by the way. In the middle of Gardens, while Hockey's for free gets the Mythic bin. I mean, Alliance, they're just playing objective at this point, and nobody is looking at them. I mean, Rex is within the vicinity, but they're just holding the height of Grow Towers, not even deciding to contest Alliance.
Yeah, I'm not particularly sure how they're hoping to make it in from there. They need to make a move one way or the other. The ring has been revealed. It's going very much north. It's actually going straight to Legacy, who sit on the northern side of this. Supernova might look to come in from the left and slam them. That's possible. You can see they've got a little setup there. E36 start to make their move. And here we go. Now you get the full overview of the map here. Crazy Thieves also looking to perhaps make a move in past Gardens. But all those teams who are sitting in the buildings in Gardens, that's where the crush is going to be. We're probably going to have a 2-stage crush here. One, everyone in Grow Towers right now, that's kind of happening. And then we'll get another one as they move out of the buildings and towards the Rift.
And imagine being Legacy, who land in Fight Night, who made that northern rotation, right? And go wrapping all the way around from the other side of Rift before rotating through that north side of Gardens. Better look here is Crazy Thieves, who have to wake up, and with only 3 games to go, Genome, I mean, it's detrimental to at least maybe find your footing, figure out what's wrong to just GG GoNext.
It's rough. I mean, they're in a position now where they probably can't make it, right? Like, I don't think it's really possible for them to make it into the winner's bracket, short of a bona fide miracle. So for them, you know, look, still positioning within that bottom 20 will help you get towards match point finals. That certainly isn't out of the question yet.
Wow, QQ gonna be able to get that knock right afterwards, though it's a trade-off. But needing some help, the Mad Maggie gets dropped, and now it's up to QQ, but he has managed to pop the shield back. He looks behind him, they get cleaned up, and IP had gotten 3-peat, and VK Gaming, they'll absolutely take that. It was actually Zuni from Citadel who had cleaned that up in the back before retreating, so now having to reset within the circle.
And IP happy with that? Sorry, not very happy with that, considering they're sitting in 30th at the moment and they need points just as badly as anyone else. Alliance sitting on 110. They're done and dusted. They don't mind too much. Maybe just getting some reps on the Pathfinder for hackers, as you said. Maybe it's just a little bit of fun here, but Citadel, does get 2 arrows into their opponents, and now they're trying to chase down. I think this is the last member of Crazy Thieves over here.
Trying to send out that Seer Tac 2 in the line of sight of a Banular who dips and dashes. Citadel Gaming now controlling this side of the hedge. Crazy Thieves eventually get eliminated in 15th. A team that has only been able to secure, what, 52 points over the course of their group stage games thus far. Supernova, though, going in hot with that Sparrow. The only team to rock the Sparrow, Wraith Portal right at their backs. The only team that has control of this zone with their backs clear is Legacy, but they don't have information on where the zone is, pooling specifically to their south side.
Yeah, they'll have a bit of a walk-in as the zone actually does pull back down the bottom here. Oblivion are going to have quite the walk-in. Sorry, they're going to be watching the other teams walk in. So let's listen to how they deal with this position.
I'm getting 3. There's 3 there. A million percent there's 3. Heard?
That team has to move. Yeah. It might have just...
They're there.
We
What's
don't
the third?
do
What's the
anything
third?
but playing behind
Watson.
the bins, okay?
Watson, Bang, something.
Here, I think.
I don't know if it's here.
Or Sparrow? I'm not sure.
They're moving left. They're moving left to right now. They're gonna go fight this north side team. Heard?
Yep. We just sit behind the bins. We're good.
See that? One's about to die. Nope, he's good.
We're gonna run a grenade. Hold up.
85 on. They might just int into us, guys.
They might.
Do we have a better fence on this corner?
Yeah.
Because I think they can block it. I'm playing like left side. They're looking for it. They're looking for it. Yeah, queuing. I think. They're gonna do it. So lit. Yeah, they are. They're in zone.
I'm double verting.
They're in zone right there.
Only at 29.
They're just sitting there for now.
Yeah, they're just chilling.
Top 10. It's a bad lobby. Back by. They're kind of looking.
Oblivion watching over Supernova as their major threat, but separated by some of the terrain here. It's really all these teams down the south now who are getting into it. We see a couple go out. VK Gaming, Aurora, Team Mango, and Gaming Gladiators, as well as Sentinel, all essentially holding this same building at the top of Gardens, or at least various levels of it. That's who we're going to have to worry about now as we get to see a live update of where these teams stand and how much they need to get over the line. From what I can see here, Boogie Borders are the closest, 21st place right now. Again, they need to get above SYRALE.
But this is a good opportunity for Team Mango, Oblivion, to have this pop-off moment. Team Mango being one of the teams on the bottom layer of the cake. Looking at how many other squads are coexisting right on top of them, having to be careful. Legacy getting involved in the fight. They get the first knock originally. And you talk about fights that are important as GoNext kinda taking the raid portal. Do we go? The 3-2-1. Yuzul takes it right out behind him. But Hogwarts, they look at the end barrier. It's not worth it. They got baited and they pay for it as Legacy get eliminated.
Hook, line, and sinker. Supernova, they're just everyone today. They can do no wrong in this series. Anyway, so many teams in this building have been waiting to get into it. Finally, it is the time they're going to be pushed out of it. We see Aurora go down. Gen.G now pushing up to try and finish off Sentinels, who have had a rough group stage so far. And it looks like, I feel like Gaming Gladiators have got the best spot out of any of these. Maybe Team Mango, who are on the low ground, could do something too. We do see a comeback. No way! Blasts and Aku going down now at the hands of Lota.
Man, the Wraith portals are giving me whiplash. Wraith all around. What year is it? Even better to see it through these Olympus building. Sentinels now down to 2. As the zone closes in behind their backs, they're on the edge of that zone, but they have to still inch forward. GoNext now are looking down at Supernova. I believe Oblivion are still coexisting right below them. GoNext backing away. The Singer Bolt has been called in right in front of their face, slowing things down just a bit, but also buying space as GoNext now have the time to set up right in their face here with these amp walls.
And a wall is separating them. Supernova with Oblivion underneath. Just a cheeky peek. If they can get a knock here, that might be enough to secure this whole side of the zone for them.
See the Seer tacticals too right below them. We know that that's what Monsoon is on here, as well as they hears the fighting happening right above their heads. See the macro drones detected once again. GoNext trying to get the res onto Henchman. Light giving him suppressed fire. They're playing Ring Around the Rosie around this wall specifically. And now Oblivion are trying to make the moves with Blinkster. Being on his favorite legend gets demolished. Literally one clipped.
How many times have we had that criticism? He's going for these kidnap plays, and sure, sometimes they work, but is it worth him getting knocked there? Luckily, no one follows him through. They get the res off, and it doesn't hurt them, but man, that was close. Imagine if someone finished him there.
Also looked like that their Watson has the support perk here too. Comes in clutching just with a quick reset as we tune in to GoNext now, still on top of Oblivion. They know where Oblivion is now after those plays, and Grow Gaming are right alongside them. The zone closing in. Eventually, Grow Gaming will have Oblivion in their line of sight while GoNext could focus on the action happening right above their heads.
Ooh, nice little catwall here from Mango. They've been chilling on the low ground for the longest time, but now they have to make their move. The ultimate comes in clutch. GG goes down. Finally, them and Sentinels get the conclusion to their battle. Grow Gaming makes their move. Looks like they're coming down now towards Team Mango.
On this though, before they start inching forward, they hear the Sheila after Henchman gets that knock onto one of the members of Grow Gaming. Saltier Seer attack over to the other side here while Loader's gonna be able to follow up, get strafing flame. 4 squads remain after Gaimin gets knocked. Only Crumbs left to see if he can get the reset, but he's gotta look at GoNext as he wrapped right behind him, and Oblivion, after forcing their way from the low ground, now having to go right back around from the Wraith portal, just delaying what they can, playing off these knockdown shields.
Oh, they'll get a top 4. We still got GoNext, Team Mango, and Sentinels somehow are the one team that have made all the way out of those buildings.
And Loader only has 23 bullets in that car. He's got to help the Magic with a triple take, and that's all he needs with a beautiful nade. As Sentinels, they wake up, and they get the dub. Excellent finish from Team Sentinels. You know what? Who cares about the finish? The way they played that mid to late game really is where that won it for them. I mean, so many times when you see a situation like that, you've got 3-4 teams clustered on a multi-level building. As you get pushed out of it into Zone 6, you all die. No one survives. There's just too much attrition in those situations. Somehow, Sentinel manages it. This time they come out alive, and not only that, they make 2-3 more moves on the other teams left alive, and we get to see them with 11 kills and a 23-point game. Out of their POI, by the way, in Gardens, where there's so much area to coexist, obviously with the amount of buildings there are, the high to low ground disparity too, that you could share in those buildings, and Sentinels with the pop-off, as we see the flyby. Verho's not looking very happy there, understandably, but Sentinels needed that for some momentum. Yeah, this has given them not only momentum, but it's given them hope. It's given them a chance, Vicky, with 23 points, as well as 26 for GoNext, 17 kills. All right, that's moving them up into the top 10. But for Sentinels, this moves them to 88 points. All of a sudden, a 23-point game has made Olympus now a possible finish point for them to get into the winner's bracket. Before this, it didn't really look that possible. Yeah, just to put it into perspective, I believe Sentinels before that game alone was, what, like 33 out of all the other teams in the group stages, and now having that pop-off game displays how important having that one dub does to a team when you are literally only working with 2 more games to go. Top 3 here, GoNext with that explosive game. Team Mango, too, that we were highlighting, needing to have that opportunity alongside Oblivion at the very late part of that end game. Yeah, we see GoNext here with the 17 kills. They do over 6,000 damage, but importantly, they pumped out more than half of that without reply. They had almost a plus 4,000 damage differential. That's an incredible effort. They must have been very safe behind those rampart walls. Just to highlight how much these teams are so locked in, by the way, this is the first time either of these teams have been within the top 3. First time we get to see Sentinels coming out with a dub as well. Like, this is where, in the series specifically, this is where these teams have been now waking up, seeing what is waiting for them. In this series specifically, in our groups A versus D, Supernova leads the way now. 66 points. No surprise there. Gaimin, they did fall a little bit in that late game there on the top of that hill, after all the action was collapsing on top of them. But GoNext now, after getting a huge double-digit KP, also find themselves in the top 3 with 36 points. Yeah, Supernova now have more than 50% of their points coming from this one series. For Gaimin, they've also pushed themselves into the top 10. They won't be able to be removed from that position anymore, I believe. It's Alliance probably that I'm actually looking at these, you know, sort of the secured teams right now and being like, wow, 14th? Really? That's actually kind of low for what we'd expect of a team of their caliber. But not only that, Vicky, you got to remember they've still got the winner's bracket ahead of them. So as long as they convert in the winner's bracket and have the good seed for the match point finals, obviously that's where the money is, that's where the prestige is, that's where they win the trophy. And we still have 2 more games to go to determine where our teams are going to be seated. Don't go anywhere. We got some more Olympus on the other side of this break.
Hey guys, I'm back down here in the interesting mix of the fan zone with all these amazing activations all around me. And one that's caught my eye is the looking for team board right behind me here. Now what you can do, okay, because you're going to be looking at all the colors. Why is there a rainbow? I know, I'm going to explain. what you can do is you can take one of the cards, and each card represents a different rank, right? You know, right at the end there you've got Master and Predator in the red. Now what you can do is you take one of these cards, the top line is your gamer tag, right? So you can put your gamer tag on there so you're reachable. The middle line is your region, so people know where you play. And then the last line you can put your favorite team, someone that you aspire to be like, anything like that, right? And this is amazing. I mean, there's such a real live concept of how you can find a team. I mean, this could be the path to victory. Maybe you could be one of the 40 teams here next year if you get on a good team. You never know where that could go. So this is just a great way to bring people together. Everyone's here sharing the love and passion of Apex Legends, and this is a brilliant activation to support that. Maybe you should come down, check it out for yourself. See you later.
playing right, I'm playing space, playing space. Hey, shoot right! Shoot the ball!
Phasing! Top left!
Queuing it! Can I kill that guy?
Kill him!
Go! Everyone's right solo! Can we kill right? Solo! We won the game! We won!
Let's go, baby! Let's freaking go!
Welcome back, everybody, to the Apex Legends Global Series Championship Day 2. Last set of the series with group stages. And with the competition heating up and the weather getting even chillier outside, it's nice to see the passion of comms coming out of Sentinels after taking that dub. And with those chairs right behind them sitting pretty comfy, our players are staying cool under pressure at the ALGS Champs thanks to the Razer Isker V2 New Gen, scientifically constructed to allow pros to stay cooler and maintain peak reflexes way longer. Great to see how a lot of our pros have been able to lock in Genome.
Still my favorite fidget spinner as well.
Oh,
got like little snake fidget spinner with the logo. Yeah, love it. Thank you to Razer. And look, we are going to be into game number 5 very soon. Still here on Olympus, and you've got to remember the stakes right now are that we are at the end of group stage, and the top 20 teams will be going to the winners bracket where they play for a spot in the match point finals. Guaranteed 10 of those go into the winners, into Sunday match point finals. The others, the bottom 20, will be going to the elimination rounds, Vicky, and I mean, that stuff's brutal, right? You never want to be there.
It's give or take, right? Where there's some teams that may find that this, it's heartening, but at the same time, you have to play more, right? Do you find that as a buff where you feel warmed up, or do you find that as more of a detriment where you feel burnt out, honestly? And is it going to be too much to handle here when there's $2 million on the line? You have more games to go through, more teams that you have to feel the pressure from? Or will you be warmed up? Will you be able to take a lot more of these games when you know you have to make do with the situation that's been handed to you? As we get started with game number 4 on Olympus, personally, I love watching the chaos unfold on this map. It feels like it's high-octane action coming out from the very beginning with a lot of these teams on these quicker rotates, whether it be from above or these tridents that a lot of these teams are trying to utilize into getting into zone very early.
I mean, a game for Bangalore ban.
Yeah.
That's an interesting one. Is that the first Bangalore ban we've had so far this tournament? Certainly not something that is usually the most picked in the lobby. I think it was maybe equal last game, if I do remember correctly. It might have been tied with Crypto. And again, I'm surprised that Crypto wasn't played more for the rest of the series and therefore went out first. But regardless, the Crypto teams that like running at people, very happy about that. Teams, you know, playing something a little more off meta. Maybe the Sparrow, the Seer, of course, were never in danger. But, you know, we discussed that last match. We're going to have something slightly different to last match, though, Vicky. We're going south. It looks like we're actually going somewhere around maybe Bonsai, maybe even towards FaZe Driver.
Ooh. I've seen this zone before. It can also pull on the outskirts over to the east side of FaZe Driver, out in the open where you could try to play off the platform sometimes. And that would benefit the likes of NIP, who do come out of Bonsai. The only thing is, they have a survey beacon. Question is, do they have that ring console? They'll get some information before moving up already off an evac tower. They also have a trident, obviously, that we know that spawns over to the north side of Bonsai, so they can utilize both if they wanted to, but instead they do take the double evac tower, as you could already see a lot of other teams with an evac tower of their own moving forward. Because now that you could see that Bangalore has been banned out, you don't see as many Valkyries. It is still in play here, but I believe in total we have 4 Valkyries in this lobby. Crypto will be going to jail next, though, so we won't be seeing Crypto in that final game. We have 11 Cryptos in this lobby, but we have 10 Wraiths right behind him.
Damn. That's what happens when you ban Ultra, I guess. You also got a couple of Wraith specialists in this lobby, I think, is something to note as well. Just a quick pause here, guys. Hopefully this one won't last for too long. But yeah, you know, teams like Oblivion, as we pointed out, maybe a little bit more to his detriment, that Blinkzer does enjoy getting on the Wraith. But there's a couple running around in this lobby here in Game 5.
Interesting to see, too, that Rampart has been able to skate on by, continuing on through Olympus and the different compositions that we get to witness as we get set up within game number 5. A different look at where that zone is pulling, as you guys saw just earlier. But I'm thinking about teams that won't have as much of an easier time on their rotate that we had highlighted before in a Garden's end zone, such as Legacy, who wrapped all the way from the north side of Rift, where there was a survey beacon. Yes, they have the opportunity to get a Trident if they were able to on the north side of Fight Night, closer to Stabilizer. And even the teams like Supernova, who are coming out ahead of the pack in this lobby, moving out of Turbine, probably going through Hammond Labs. There's a survey beacon there too. It's all about getting that information. I do know there is a ring console over by Dockyard, so Crazy Thieves at least could try to go there for some information. As we've already mentioned, looking grim for the Crazy Thieves, unfortunately. But Rex will be able to wait for them on the cusp of that ring.
Really, all I just want to see is someone pressing the bingo button again and again and again. How many loot baubles can we get in the middle of FaZe Driver by the end of this game? Let's go for the record.
Let's see it. As we get to take a look at the comp shifts, too. I like this.
Ooh.
Top 3 picks. Look at this. In fact, that Crypto, it took this long for setting him back behind bars. He's staying alive in this game number 5. Wraith following right behind him, though, in these compositional picks. I like how we get to see which legend some of these players have swapped over to versus what we saw in the previous games.
I mean, yeah, looking at some of the teams who have made wholesale changes, right? It's interesting. I mean, so we've had Bangalore banned, and Wolves have changed. Wolves not playing Bangalore have changed their entire composition. I mean, it makes sense for Boogie Borders. Okay, Bangalore's banned, sure, swap it out. Let's get a Maggie in there. Wolves have just gone, no, we're going to go now play Sparrow, Cat, Falc. Completely different. I think, you know, Grow Gaming as well, completely switched over Crypto, Maggie, and Catalyst, just because we do see that Bangalore banned out.
And that's only for this specific match, right? Why don't we take a look at the compositions, the top compositions that we've seen throughout the course of our series. Look at this, 35% pick rate for Crypto, Rampart, and Wraith. Surprisingly, Wraith being there instead of the Valkyrie. So I feel like that also goes hand in hand with what Hawkins was saying just yesterday when he joined us on the desk temporarily, explaining how the POI draft really does influence what composition you want to roll out with, understanding that you may have to play out on the edge of zone. So actually, this is just for this match specifically. So you get to see the Rampart, Crypto, and Wraith specifically right there in that first place spot. But the Mad Maggie, too, has been taken advantage of by a lot of teams, no matter whether it's Olympus, Storm Point, World's Edge. We saw it yesterday, we've seen it today.
Okay, looks like we are getting back into the action in just a second. The wait is over. Game 5 back online. Gaming Gladiators. Where are they sitting in the overall standings right now? For them, it's a very rough end to this series. 81 points currently as they try and break an opponent's car just for some funsies.
And Blast is here with the drive-by. Says, you ain't driving by me here with the Sheila. Trying to take their shoes. Oblivion with the amp. The Over Armor are going to be able to now make their next move. It's going to be onto Fun, who is on that Watson, so that's why he's already got that red Evo shield together with having that Controller Legend passive. Blinks are making the move into rotating inside this building, making sure it's safe, but it's not safe maybe for SBI. Mike at least gets out one shot, but fighting on the outskirts of FaZe Driver could be risky for the teams that have clear line of sight on their rotate once they get through these chokes. VK Gaming having to wake up now, backing away. Ego is going to be able to yeet those nades in their direction, not finding any of these hit markers at their feet. Mike is trying to reset fully, but having these white Evo shields minus your Controller Legend is grim in a situation like this.
What's he looking for with the Wraith Portal here? Gets the upgrade mid-port. Don't know if that applies or not, but unfortunately, it doesn't go down before Egoist can get in there. So SBI Esports, they've made the rotation in from Estates. It's not that far for them, but they haven't made it cleanly. And that's, look, frankly, one of the reasons why they have found themselves stuck towards the bottom of our leaderboards so far, Vicky. It's 38th spot right now for SBI, playing for any points that they can scrounge together.
I'm seeing a lot of these teams kind of second-guess taking these fights, too. It was because they took a little bit of time, and they don't like to take a fight like that, especially when they still have 2 white Evos. Because in the distance, you have other teams rotating out of Terminal. Aurora have made their way out. They have the Rampart walls set up and ready to go. They could look on at the teams to their right, although they wouldn't have the line of sight of SBI since they're on the right side of FaZe Driver, as Sentinels also making their rotate on the outskirts of Terminal. This time on the other side of where Aurora was positioned, more so by the choke that would lead you out of the hilltop of Hammond Labs. And while they do take their time and look to their backs, you have to imagine Grow Gaming, who are coming out of Icarus side, GoNext, who have to now rotate from that north side, as well as Legacy, will slowly start making their way as Sentinels have to clear their backs and expect these teams.
Yeah, Terminal, of course, always a good spot to be posting up for teams rotating through. It is a very forceful choke point in that sort of sense. Crazy Thieves. Verhulst finds himself in trouble, has to use the catwall to try and get out of here. Jen Burton, never a slouch. Does find a nice little shot with the R301 there and follows it up with the nade. Oh my god, cracks Sato as well.
He's farming. I saw that gold mag on the R301, and I know he was juiced. Not only with the nades and the beautiful follow-up, gets a double knock, gets a finishing blow onto those players as Verhulst is zooming by. Find out where that straggler may have gone before they start moving into that next rotate as well.
Nice little setup for GG here. I like this spot for them. We were talking about, you know, potential places. This is, I think, where you were talking about the zone pulling to here, Vicky. And if they're set up here nice and early in one of these buildings with all the rampart walls set up, could be great for them. Of course, they don't have Aku's banner right now, but Luca on the crypto hopefully should be able to recover that and grab a respawn with the Moby they've got in Blast's backpack.
By the way, Aku got kidnapped. We didn't see it on the screen, but he got kidnapped, and you have to imagine Gaming Gladiators. Okay, well, with the amount of wraiths that we have in this lobby, you have to keep your wits about. Citadel Gaming prowling in the distance behind that crate before trying to take this fight. And they got to do it quickly because GoNext are looking to 3P as this fight prolongs. Blast, the other player left over to the other side. One member left for Gaming Gladiators, but it wasn't as clean as they wanted. They have to get the Evil Shield reset and they have to get those res onto Remix. But now GoNext are going to be able to show their face into this fight.
As we talked about, this is a great spot and Citadel might be able to do just exactly the same thing in a little hermit crab fashion there. SBI go down, that's to Wolves.
And GoNext saw that the fight was over and they would just rather situate themselves on the edge of Solar Array rather than push that fight that they see a bunch of rampart walls in, even when they were hearing the res. So backing away, because even if they do try to commit to a fight, imagine the teams that have the high ground from Bonsai looking down on you uncontested. So taking it a much rather slower pace here, especially if they don't have the info on where that next zone pools.
Alliance are pulling into Bonsai right now. As you can see, Grow Gaming are well up the top. Enter Force 36 below them. What will happen if Alliance start a fight here? Alliance have gone back to the crypto. No more Pathfinder. It's Crypto, Cat, and Maggie, actually, for Alliance. So as they pull in here, are they aware? Has the Crypto drone scouted the top and seen Grow Gaming? If they have, I think they're much less likely to try and start this fight with Enter Force 36, knowing that Grow Gaming are sure to drop on their heads.
At least they'll get the information this time around, right? That path, you're not living very long to see the next game, or the light of the game. Coming forward now as Crazy Thieves move on with the Trident. Getting information, though, it looks like Phony has the info right back to where the fight started. And Crazy Thieves, with that Sparrow, the tracker dart has been activated. It is VK Gaming waiting for them on top of the pipe.
Can they hear the spin up? Do they know it's coming? Well, they know it's coming now. The bullets are raining out from LD. I'm not sure many of them hit, though, and certainly Qadsiah seems to have taken a few himself. Time to reset, perhaps. No, they try and get the amp cover set up, but the drill will get them going.
I don't like this fight because the zone's going to close in soon, and Supernova have wrapped out from the outskirts of estates after scanning a survey beacon. They probably were able to scan that ring console too, and now they're going to show their face in this fight. And they're not isolated too. Once these three teams collapse on one another, even if Supernova want to prio the ring, Legacy are waiting for them on the edge of zone. You take the next choke outside of FaZe Driver, and Aurora are then waiting for you on that other side of the choke.
Yeah, that doesn't sound like a gauntlet that I want to run through, if I'm being honest, especially when Supernova has nothing to lose at this point. They know they're secure. They can take this fight with impunity.
EMP now ringing out for Solar Array. It is Sentinels showing their face, looking at Boogie Borders. GoNext on the other side of Boogie Borders, making a Boogie sandwich. Wrapping up right behind them, though, having to reset. They have the safety of these buildings. They have the Watson, but they don't have that Rampart now, trying to hold the door instead. Metro looking, trying to reset with maybe a shield out of his own. Oh, he was one! Oh, oh no! I would have gotten hit by that. Metro paying for trying to get a little greedy. He saw the play, that was one shot. It's only up to the Watson to come in clutch.
Pan up, the veteran on the team. I mean, Racky's right along there with him. But this guy who, you know, look, he's had a lot to do in the last couple of months, and unfortunately for him, not a lot of that has been scrimming, but that has not stopped him leading this team into what is almost a winner's bracket berth now.
The grieving drill, man. Catching them right from the back of the wall. They found them originally, but Hockey's on the iPad is letting his Pokemon know where to full send it because they are looking for GoNext, who are hiding inside this building. The EMP means 3, 2, 1, go, and they're gonna try to take this fight. We've had so many other isolated fights here. This time, over by Terminal, it's gonna be Rex versus Sentinels. They lose out on Loader, though. It's a trade-off from both ends as Carter puts down the walls just so that way they can try to restabilize with the shields.
A renewed sense of purpose for Sentinels after their win last map. All of a sudden, these points are important to them, and they get a couple.
Hold up, look at the feed. Supernova get eliminated at the hands of Legacy, who did gatekeep them from the zone.
Yes, Alliance have gone down too, absolutely trolling the entire Talent Team's picks at this point with only 12 points on the board. Sentinels now up to 35, however, and they want more. RRQ have been sent packing, but now it's Citadel Gaming that they have turned their sights on.
And while their backs are cleared for now, they still hear the fighting right in front of them. Rex are forced to wrap all the way around, by the way, on the other side of Terminal. But even if they show face here, eventually, Aurora going to be waiting for them on the other side.
I mean, probably the less likely of the circles that we were expecting, right? It has pulled directly onto FaZe Driver. I mean, you think back a couple of years, you could drop a lifeline package on someone's head and kill them with it. Now, what I want to see right here, I don't think it's actually possible, but imagine if you could hit the button and drop one of those loot baubles on someone to get, like, what an amazing way to finish the game that would be.
That would be so funny. It'd just be a bunch of pinatas coming down here as we take a look at Boogie Borders now, moving up.
Who's got the bat heirloom?
Exactly. Who's going to be the victim from the other side as Boogie Borders now trying to take this fight versus Citadel, the side-by-side, and Aurora and Sentinels are busy with their own individual fight to isolate this.
Looks like that was the replay of Alliance going down back into the present. We've got Boogie Borders trying to survive with Raki getting rezzed here. Panna does have the support perk, of course. That's incredibly helpful to get that health back up and running. Boogie Boarders are sitting on the most extreme northeast side of this right now. They have got so many teams to get through. It's going to be a tough one for them. Maybe a Valcol will see them go further into the zone as it pulls away from them. It pulls to the west. It pulls to Legacy and Crazy Thieves.
And they've called this a zone like this on Olympus, what, like twice now we saw it happen in our previous zone closer to Gardens. Now they've positioned themselves in the best spot on the edge of FaZe Driver, and they're just looking at the teams that have to collapse on one another by Sentinels as we see a knock only leaving Riley as the last one alive. Team Mango within the vicinity, Aurora looking for them as Boogie Boarders now move in front of Aurora.
Boogie Boarders, who have picked up 9 points this game and most likely qualified to the winners bracket. What an incredible effort from the youngster Metro on his first ever LAN appearance.
This is where legends are made. This is how you make a statement. Now it's only up to Panel, though, to be able to get this reset. Pops this med kit. Everybody else is busy with the action around them, but you know who's not busy? NIP, who's moving up.
Metro crawling back to his teammates now, but Kurev is coming around the side. I don't think they're going to survive this one. Nope, down and out. But Boogie Boarders have done what they needed to do. They're above 100 points, and that should put them into the winners bracket.
A little bit of breathing room here. Feels safe as Sentinels, with Riley still alive. Legacy waiting and prowling about like Jaws. Cue the John Williams music, though, because they smell blood. Aurora get eliminated. 8 squads left. And NIP, after taking care of Boogie Boarders, are wrapping behind Legacy.
It's just Riley right now. I mean, Carter, I don't think he's going to have access to him. Trying to get any kind of KP and kills he can. They know it's important. We just showed you that leaderboard. They need another 10 points, and they're not guaranteed to get that next game. Down to 7 squads. Surviving here is important. Placement points are important. Every kill matters.
Is Riley invisible? Like, they finally see him. They take care of him. Vayne was at least trying to take care of him before he eventually falls to Crazy Thieves.
No one expecting this zone. No one's in it right now. It pulls to the west, and Crazy Thieves, Team Mango, Wolves Esports, Oblivion and KINOTROPE Gaming aren't within it. Oblivion is actually the first to move, probably going in there with a Wraith Portal. Yes, we do see his teammates following Blinkster in. A perfect use case there for the Wraith. Crazy Thieves come in from the north. KINOTROPE now making a move, but Wolves Esports and Team Mango late to follow.
And with 5 squads left, this is so important for every team alive. Sentinels sitting at 20 seconds with 93 points. Team Mango with 93. Oblivion with 89, while NIP have 88, and then Gaming Gladiators with 81, despite that dub earlier on 2. Now we see Team Mango finally move up. Strafing Flame. He does have that blue if you really consider it with the Control Legend if he finds himself in the next zone, but he's not, so he still has White Evo.
Something's wrong here. Zone 5, and your boy only got 50 shields.
And no attachments, by the way. Basically.
maybe died early and like only just got respawned or something. I don't know. That is a crazy occurrence. I don't know if I've ever seen that. Zone 5 with white armor is a tough one unless you have stayed in one spot literally the entire game and never looked outside your window. Maybe it's a bit of a shut-in, not sure.
I mean, the fact that they come out of Terminal, it happens, but look at this. This is the difference maker. This is why having a Control Legend go so hard. You give them the amp, you let them boost up those Evo shields, and now they can sit a little bit more comfortable after being in that next zone for so long.
I mean, it doesn't look that comfortable, right? I mean, the zone is pushing them in, Vicky. They're going to have to walk through the middle of FaZe Driver, that big open place. And if anyone has ever played this in ranked, you know if you get caught off guard in the middle there, it is just a killing ground.
And now this is going to be the green light for Oblivion because Crazy Thieves have to eventually send it onto Team Mango, and then Oblivion are just going to be able to walk up and look at them, but they're going to get stopped because Wolves Esports is going to take away their attention and force this fight above Oblivion's head.
Oblivion, they're trying to exist in a corner here with that pylon, but you can see 2 of them have gone down. Wolves just peeked over the side. It was too easy for them to get Blinkster and Fun FPS on the ground now. Despite being first movers, they've lost out.
Now imagine with 2 Sparrows in a final zone like this, how crazy these ultimates may go. But remember, it's a double-edged sword. It also slows down your own teammates as Wolves trying to stay alive, getting that information. He gets the following knock with the RE, and Oblivion have managed to get the double reset.
Okay, Crazy Thieves actually making some good moves here. They come around the outside. They might be able to grab KINOTROPE and Wolves here, while Oblivion, have they got the reset?
They got the double res. I mean, we'll take those because Wolves Esports, they couldn't really focus on them with the zone closing in behind them. They got a little worried that Crazy Thieves would take control of the opportunity and wrap up behind them. They didn't want to risk losing this spot, and Oblivion are still right underneath them.
So many times you're sitting there saying, why didn't the other team shoot them? This time, Oblivion do get helped out by Crazy Thieves, but now it is Crazy Thieves who are putting them down. Monsoon, the first to go down at the hands of Phony's bow.
And because Wolves are on the other side, they don't see Oblivion in their line of sight. They hear them fighting, and now they have to poke their heads to look at Crazy Thieves, who are playing off the lip of the stairs with a hedge glitch.
And Crazy Thieves, they know there's still 3 teams alive. They can't commit too heavily to this, or it'll just all be up to Wolves, who have had the little reset time now to come back in and take the dub. So they poke, they prod, one by one, they try and wear Oblivion down to make sure that they are still healthy when they take on Wolves for the final 3v3.
Crazy Thieves have been trying to frag out this game. 8 KP thus far, 4.3k damage across the board in total for this team. Wolves Esports now with full blue looking to try to extend on this fight.
Is there actually time now for Wolves? Have they waited too long? Maybe they will get pushed out of cover before Oblivion, who have somehow lived through the assaults from all these different teams.
Let's see where X marks the spot if we have double catwall. As this final zone closes in, Crazy Thieves, they make the first move. They look over to the right side. Gen being on that Mad Maggie. You can imagine, too, with the wrecking ball. Thermite at their feet. Monsoon now moves in. He doesn't have Seer ultimate. He doesn't have the info, but he has a tactical. Has Blinkster. Gets that knock onto Phony.
Can they do it? Can Oblivion actually come out of this? Well, Phony goes down, but now we have Jen Burton and Crazy Kong on the ground. This is such a hard fight to read.
And this is so important for Oblivion to be able to extend on this, but Monsoon has to look to their back. They lost out on Blinkster first again here. Monsoon playing off the Gen for now for some extra cover, but he has to look behind him too. One player left as Crazy Riku cannot hold up. 3 squads left still.
There's still 3 squads alive. What is going on? Wolves are the first to go down. Monsoon, is this a 1v1?
He's trying to survive here. Can he do it? Monsoon low. He's one shot. Oh no, he procs the banner pull. No, Crazy Thieves. They'll take it with an insane dub. Better late than never, they always say.
Was that a double melee finish?
There was spaghetti all over the floor. It was a huge mess, honestly. Oh my, we've all been there. When the same button prompt comes through, you're trying to play off your teammate's shield, you have to reload, and the prompt comes out and you pick up the banner instead. But Crazy Thieves, I said it before, they were fragging out that game, and they come out on top with the dub.
Now, when Sentinels were in this position last game, Vicky, we said this changes everything for them. All of a sudden, they are a consideration. Now, for Crazy Thieves, I'm not quite willing to go that far. But if you're telling me there's a chance, yeah, there is actually a chance. That moves Crazy Thieves up to 76 points. Now, where the current cutoff is standing is probably going to be SYRALE. But there are 3 teams right below them. Okay, look, we'll probably get to the series results in a second. I'll calm down with the math just so we can focus on the match 5 results here. Crazy Thieves, 24 points. Oblivion have moved up in 22nd now with 12 points. Wolves, they're solid 15th spot right now, very happy. Ninjas in Pyjamas pick up 12. For them, that moves them up to 88. All of us, oh my God, there are so many teams in play right now.
That's why, like, for those of you guys watching at home, seeing the emotional outbursts from a lot of these players, you have to imagine that that 1v1 could have made a difference with those 12 extra points if you win the game, whether you're safe in the top 20 or not. Because Oblivion are one of those teams on the cusp, what, like 22, 21 or so, 22 points. 22 rather, with 97 points. And having those extra points, it's so that we'll have one more game to go. It's insane how tight this overall standing is looking.
All right. Oblivion have got 34 points so far this series. Now, this is the series as it stands at this very moment. If you cast your eyes below SYRALE from 22nd down there, you'll see Oblivion on 97, Sentinels on 93, Mango on 93, Ninjas in Pyjamas on 88. All of those teams are in this lobby, and 12 or 10 or more points will actually get them into the top 10. But the more of them that perform, the harder it becomes. There's a lot of calculations to make here, but if they're one of your teams, Vicky, just, I don't know, make a prayer, light a candle, do something right now. Give them your energy.
I mean, is that what Rock is doing out there too, being on the cusp of sitting in 20th with 100 points? I mean, what did we say at the very beginning before we started with our first group stage, right, Genome? We're 90 or so, doing the math, 90 to 95 could be that cutoff because of all the points that have been distributed over the course of those last two series. Now looking at this one, it's been so spread out that those teams have been able to really amp up throughout the course of these series to be able to get the points necessary when they're on the later half of the overall standings.
All right, this was one of the best end games I've seen in a long time, Vicky. Yeah. I mean, you've got, here we go, we get Verhul's POV. Great to see this. Obviously, being able to put out cat spikes at this point is kind of nice. He's on the back end here. No one's really focusing on Verhulst at this point. So yeah, that's why it started coming in. And it's a Prowler as well. You can't even tap it, right? You have to go with that. And here we go. The unfortunate banner grab from Monsoon. I would be having exactly the same reaction. Are you kidding me? That close? That close? Verhulst is that low and you pick up the banner. I mean, I think I've only seen that worse one single time. And that was in an APAC South regional finals, or was it the championship, the year where we played it online, where I think it was a 1v1 between Roy and maybe Zero. I think it was a Dreamfire one. And yeah, it was a banner grab and a 1v1, and it was to win the tournament. So, I mean, I can tell you that is such a death smash moment, right?
I agree with you. I agree with you because, so a way to try to work around that, and in the heat of the moment, I mean, sometimes you don't even think, you just want to be able to reload immediately afterwards. Some alternative could be, if you know you have to reload, just empty your clip and force the reload like that instead of pressing a button if you're trying to play around a knockdown shield. But there's so much happening there. Monsoon didn't know that Verhulst had no ammo. Verhulst had no other choice but to go in for the melee, and Monsoon had to reload. He played around his teammates' knockdown shields. His teammate gets finished. He presses the reload button. The action to pick up the banner comes out. And it happens here. You got to go for the reset as our players are getting ready to go. I want to hear from Ryan, though, as he's set up with the rest of the crowd.
We've got our first victim, a guest for the day, who's going to be part of the Rock, Paper, Scissors challenge. If he wins, he gets none other than this very precious, beautifully crafted Nessie pin badge in all its glory. Look at that. Feast your eyes, ladies and gents. And my very eager victim, guest is about to get this show on the road. 準備よろしいでしょうか？はい。最初はグー、じゃんけんポン。あいこでしょ。I don't like this game anymore. Congratulations, おめでとうございます。So we got another guest. 最初はグー、じゃんけんポン。あいこでしょ。最初はグー、じゃんけんポン。She was good. She was ready. Right, we're going to move around a bit more now, just so we don't have all of the Nessies go around this spot. Look at that, mid-lunge. She's trying to take me on. 最初はグー、じゃんけんポン。あいこでしょ。あいこでしょ。残念、残念。最初はグー、じゃんけんポン。だっせー。最初はグー、じゃんけんポン。おー、おめでとう。どうぞどうぞどうぞ。爪。Yo, look at these nails, the Nessie nails. Every nail is part of the ALGS library. This lady has been putting in work. End of the first round of the Nessie giveaway challenge. I did all right for myself, I held my own, but I think people started to get the read on me towards the end. But I made a lot of fans happy in the result, so I'm happy about that. We'll see you for round 2.
Thank you so much, Ryan. I'm side-eyeing that wall behind him, by the way. I don't know. There's definitely not that many Preds here in this arena. But you know what? You know what? I can't prove that. But I do have to reiterate what was going on with Monsoon, because we got some more information. And looking at that replay and looking at his screen flash in front of him, he actually accidentally tabbed out, which is why you saw that bright flash on his screen. at the very end there, when he picked up the banner, he accidentally tabbed out on the keyboard. I mean, now thinking about it from a competitor's point of view, right? You're on this stage, $2 million on the line. You're performing in front of this huge crowd in an international LAN. You have to reset, man. You got one more game to go. Crazy Thieves, we know where they were situated, Gino. We know that it was probably inevitable, even if they had one big kahuna of a game, it was going to be pretty difficult to find yourself in that winner's side of the bracket. Oblivion, though, were one of the teams on the cusp. And that's why we keep highlighting this, because they are sitting currently in 22 in the overall standings with 97 points. And they have one last chance to be able to overtake what that top 20 is looking like if Rock Esports does stay there with 100 points.
They'd be in the top 20 right now had Monsoon won that 1v1, right?
Yep, that's what's at stake.
At minimum of a 4-point difference, and Oblivion would be in the top 20. My God. I mean, I'm surprised he only banged it. If it was an alt-tab, Vicky, I'm surprised he only banged the table. I'm surprised he didn't have a go at the monitor. I'm surprised he didn't pick up the chair.
I mean, this is Monsoon, right? Like, he understands. This is a competitor who has the experience, and that's why, like, hand-in-hand, mentality is so important just to keep yourself together, and having that experience really helps out for our players that are veterans in the scene. Fun, understanding, you know, just go next. Time to reset here. He's talking about it, I bet you. But we still got one more game to go on Olympus. One last chance opportunity. Like, literally a mistake like that could make a difference between your team walking away with thousands of dollars.
I mean, imagine if someone ints them next turn. Next game, right? Like, early on, you go down, you're 3 points off the cutoff. I don't want to imagine it.
No.
I just have.
Don't bring that energy.
I didn't want to.
Because the thing is also, like, imagine the teams that know they're not going to make it, right? What do they have to lose? The teams that know that no matter what, if they pop off, what do they have to lose other than maybe grief a team who's about to make it, and they don't, you know, they feel like they could deal with them in the loser side of things, so they could force them to be in their lobby.
Yeah, if you're VK Gaming, if you're SBI Esports, if you are Rex Regum Keon, you can't have a 50-point game. Sorry, you just can't. It's not going to happen. Those guys are in this last game, and, you know, look, they still have something to play for. Never forget that. There is seeding here in the lower bracket just as well as the upper bracket. I just talk about the upper bracket more because that's what leads into match point final. That's what leads you into having a championship win here in Sapporo. So those guys certainly still can have a chance here to improve their position.
And as we take a look at Sentinels, you talk about the teams that are right there. 93 points for Sentinels. And again, the cutoff at the moment in this top 20 is Rock with 100 points. SYRALE have already been knocked down from the top 20 and are sitting in 21st place with 98 points. So the teams that could have a pop-off opportunity here, even NIP really with their 88 total points, depends on how they approach and where these zones are going to be pulling, but it's literally Oblivion, Sentinels, Team Mango, and NIP. All eyes on these 4 teams going into this final game in the group stages.
And you have to, yeah, depending on how the teams ahead of you perform, that matters as well, right? I mean, I've said Boogie Board is the most likely going to make it in, but there are some very unlikely scenarios where they could actually get knocked out now. But, you know, you'd need like a 1, 2, 3, 4 of Oblivion, Sentinels, Team Mango, and Ninjas in Pyjamas, essentially, for that to happen. But yeah, let's just say, I mean, you know, Sentinels could have a 16-point game here. No, they're still in. All right, whatever. Look, I'm going to stop doing maths because there's just too many possibilities. But yeah, Oblivion, Sentinels, Team Mangoes, and Ninjas in Pyjamas. Let's just keep them top of mind for this game.
I liked English way better as a class anyways. That's why Genome is my analyst. Genome, you keep doing the number thing. Just like Onset, like Selenon, to Gaskin for the same thing. But guys, let's get ready. Let's get settled for our final game of group stages within the ALGS Championship in Sapporo. Our legends are loaded in, and they're picking the legends as we get to see which compositions we're rolling out with for our final game in group stages.
So after game 5, we are going to have, of course, one more ban, and it will be the Crypto this time. This is going to switch up the play styles of a lot of teams. Vicky, there's a lot of very good Crypto players in this lobby. There's a lot of teams that are used to relying on the Crypto, relying on the information it provides you. When we first started getting crypto metas. People said, this just makes IGLing too easy. This is, you know, you're doing it with hacks here. You got wall hacks. You've got so many tools at your availability that it's just too easy. But we don't really hear that anymore. But I guess it's time to go back and use your God-given IGL skills. This time, that's all you've got to rely on.
Invisible, you can get remote reses. I mean, we won't get that this time around. We're seeing a different look in this lobby with no crypto. Means that Mad Maggie has moved in as the most picked legend of this final game. 10 Mad Maggies in this lobby, 8 Seers, 8 Watsons, 8 Wraiths. Nice spread across the board, but the most picked composition is the Rampart, Seer, and Wraith. The Wraith coming in clutch for some rotations, but we still have teams opting for the Valkyrie, who has gone unbanned. Usually we get to see that hand in hand with how strong Valkyrie is with the Newcastle, but obviously we didn't have that after the first game. But we still have 6 Valkyries in the lobby here too.
If I'm not mistaken, we've also got 13 different team compositions. It's just such a great breadth of legend diversity here in Game 6 that these particular bans have forced us away from. And this is actually probably one of the more unusual set of legend bans that we've seen, with that early Bangalore ban and the late Crypto ban coming through here. So Rampart, of course, still going to be a bit of a fixture, but hey, we've even got a Horizon on VK Gaming. Qadsiah is picking that up again, as we mentioned, probably because they know there's no longer a winner's bracket in it for them.
Gonna be able to have fun with it if they can. We're already getting involved in an early fight. VK Gaming backing away. It's SBI on the other side, and Rex, they've got a whiff of this fight before they take an evac tower to show their face. LQ though, nice and healthy. He's gonna be able to follow up as they take out SBI, but look at the 3P. We talk about the teams that have nothing to lose, and this is what you could see on your screens as Crazy Thieves move up to 4P. Aurora get eliminated. It is a bloodbath off the very beginning as Oblivion. No, they need KP if they want to have their chance in the top 20.
They get 2. That's 2 points. That's a big deal. I'm serious. Like, you know, 3 or 4 points is most likely going to be enough for Oblivion, and they've just done half of that. But you can imagine, your heart would be in your mouth as you take this early fight. No guaranteed placement points at that point, and you're like, if we lose this fight, it's over. Well, it's not fully over. It's, you know, you're in the loser's bracket, which is a big deal.
It's really hard to come back from this, and they know that. Crazy Thieves looking behind them, though, after they take out VKG. And it wasn't the 4th party, it's this time the 5th party, as we knew that Rex were in the vicinity, leaving out of hydroponics with that evac tower, but it looks like Crazy Thieves, they are trying to reset. Verhoso gets caught from right behind mid. It's the double Mosiums, blowing him right from the back here before he gets finished off.
Here I was thinking that this was a good third party for Crazy Thieves, but somehow it's gone horribly wrong for them, with RRQ turning up as well. Crazy Thieves will have to lick their wounds and go back, looks like, to Oasis. They're hoping to get a respawn there. The zone, however, has pulled very much over towards the east and towards Summers University.
Look at the amount of teams, by the way, that are all on top of each other, very congested. Over to Sommers, the team that likes to leave out of Elysium will have the survey beacon as well as the ring console. Verhos comes back though, and into the Trident we go with another drive-by. What more chaos can the Crazy Thieves find themselves in? Can they steal any more KP or any other opportunities to force these other teams to go down to the loser's bracket with them? Who can they take down as we get to take a look at VK Gaming, a team that will meet them, who are still alive at the very least on the horizon, see if they can get that res. And since they don't have a support character, they won't get that mobile beacon off of the replicator. Instead, it's Gaming Gladiators now on the other side of the Sommers, who are going to be able to hide inside this building where there's also a lot of space to coexist on.
Early in the game, Summers University, I agree, it is a place for everyone. It's inclusive, it's welcoming, right? There's lots of space to set up here, especially when you consider that, you know, teams might have a Rampart, perhaps a Gibraltar, but besides that, there isn't really any destructible cover, any abilities that allow you to set up those positions. Qadsiah has respawned LD and QQ. He needs to not get full finished right now until they come out. Okay, they've made it out of the dropship. That's no longer an issue, but staying alive any further than this, maybe.
It's raining VKG, though. Is Boogie Borders singing hallelujah? Yes, they will, because they finished them off after chasing them out into the ring. And Boogie Borders are another team with the same stakes as we've already noted from Oblivion. They know they need to get that KP.
Yeah, that's pretty much securing that one for Boogie Borders. Now, fantastic stuff from there. I mean, it must have been a little scary there as well. You can see they're up to 105, a nice little buffer for them. But as the other members drop down, oh, nice drill coming out from Gen there. Oh my God, he's one shot. That is actually one shot. But yeah, as the other members drop down, it was like all of a sudden they had a health disadvantage because they'd been sitting, Boogie Borders had been sitting in the ring for so long that they were like, oh, these guys just dropped out with 100 HP. Is this okay?
Hey, they managed to reset here, and they'll be able to walk away with that KP. And a lot of other teams like Crazy Thieves playing up that low ground, and Alliance going to be able to get some KP of their own, being very quiet within this series. But as we've already noted after their performance in the other series with the other group stages, could be able to have a little bit more lax time looking at where they stand in the overall standings. And now looking at where the zone is going to be pulling to that south side, NIP playing on the cusp, but it's everybody really that's right on top of each other, congested over by Sommers. And it's going to be difficult for teams like Citadel, KINOTROPE, Grow Gaming, even Legacy, who have to come out from their northern side of Fight Night, who've wrapped around. They really do like wrapping over from the east side of the map once these zones have revealed themselves. But they're going to have to play objective because they know what's around them. They have the ring console, so they'll have that information. So they don't want to probably approach from that north side knowing it's going to be congested by the teams who don't have that beacon info, and they could get that survey beacon to see what is available to play from if they haven't scanned it already. As they're going to be able to commit now from that north side. They're not alone. Hawkins is still getting knocked, by the way, this time onto Henchman with a bow check.
112 points accumulated so far for Alliance. A lot of pressure coming on them coming into this series, but they certainly have dropped the ball a little bit. 17th in this lobby as it stands. Team Mango, again, one of those ones, 93 points. They found themselves deep in the zone alongside Ninjas in Pyjamas, who are fighting for one of these top 20 slots.
I think it's important to know as well that this is a game where there is no crypto because the crypto ban now enables the likes of a Gibby, a Watson, because EMP is not feared. You could set up your Watson fences and you don't have to worry about your bubble getting deleted off of an EMP. Great information for our teams that get to at least rely on that comfort pick if they want to run out with that composition and they're prepared depending on what POI they have. As Boogie Borders making their move. They're one of the teams with the Watson. And, of course, that Mad Maggie. They get the scan off that survey beacon and they call in the evac tower.
Yeah, you're perfectly right there, Vicky. And it's probably the only time I think that we're going to see Watson with 8 picks overtake Rampart with 5 picks when they are both available as controller characters.
Nice how these little legend banks just play into that bigger picture. Aku with the double Mozams now finds easy flash, where the teams start flying overboard. Boogie Borders decide to take a higher ground position, not fully committing into where that next zone is pulling. They're probably going to wait to see if they could gatekeep any teams on the other side, or if they could get maybe a ring console, so that way they could get that info, but nobody's going to be coming out of Hammond or Gravity Engine. While Team Mango, seeing the enemy Sparrow from the other side, they're not going to be leaving from this building because they have to make sure that they're safe because they're looking at NIP, and there is Wolves Esports right behind them too.
There's a lot of space up towards the northwest, the outside of Gravity Engine. And if the zone does happen to shift that way, it's going to be interesting to watch the exodus of the teams who have set up early. Legacy, however, they're much on the outskirts. They're looking at RRQ, they're looking at Citadel Gaming all the way over here in Gardens. But it's not a garden zone, and it is going to shift even further south. And the teams who set up are going to be rewarded, perhaps apart from Ninjas in Pyjamas.
Gonna benefit the likes of Oblivion at E36 while Supernova get the mythic bin. Everybody eats here. Gold triple take. Kraber ready to go. You see that ping too, just in case. They're gonna have another teammate pick that up, hopefully. while other squads are so fixated on this rotate from the north side, the teams that do not know where this next zone is pulling in, by the way, who may not have had info on that ring console. Yanya, the last one alive for Legacy. Can they do it with Rex now pushing in? Legacy get eliminated. It was a difficult fight to take at that, but originally, Rex only had one member of that team outside of the zone. They could have fully dove onto that, but they didn't have the information on where Citadel was before they wrapped around. And now Team Mango, another team that was on the cusp, trying to stay alive. Look at where they're situated. 24, only 93 total points, and Crumbs was a crumb of health. They get sent down to the losers bracket.
I mean, it was a Cinderella run for Easy Flash and Strafing Flame after he was dropped from Qadsiah to make it through in the regional finals, getting the golden ticket over here. But we'll have to see if there's another Cinderella run through the lower bracket. That's what Strafing Flame needs at this point.
With the KP we've seen Oblivion take, by the way, they are now currently tied with Rock with 100 points. As Gaimin get eliminated, Oblivion inch their way closer to some safety, slowing things down. You can see the KP, they've had 2 players fall into their hands, but playing this slowly means that they're gonna have blue Evo shields, fun at least on the wall, and we'll have that controller legend perk, so that you will, at least with that passive, get up to that purple shield.
One more would be nice. Any more than that is going to start putting some distance between them and, say, Sentinels. No longer Team Mango, but perhaps Ninjas in Pyjamas who could catch them.
Get more safety here. Need that net to catch you. Monsoon looking ahead. They know they're so hungry. They're taking some of those pot shots to see if they can steal anything from the teams that are fighting in front of them. Boogie Borders are at that choke. There's an Evo Harvester in the distance where Oblivion could take a look at if any team dares to try to rotate in that direction, but you're going to be out in the open, and good luck with that with the teams that have also been able to hold onto high ground, specifically E36, who have not moved from their building from the very beginning. Sentinels being another one of those teams too, playing this passively, having the car in hand comes in clutch too.
Sentinels are in one of the most dire, pressure-filled situations of their life. I want to hear from Sentinels and how they are going to get themselves over the line here. Just a scarce few points from the 20 cutoff.
Fucking Valkyl, and then we walk in. Yep. Like right here is like full good. But we have more space than that.
But chilling on the heady right here. Good man.
I'm trying to hard look at this team.
Yep.
They're pointing at us, pointing at us.
Where?
Bottom here. They're pointing outside our left, Carter, below you. Fine.
I took it. I can peek it.
Don't over peek it. Don't over peek it. We have another team. Yeah, we can't do anything about this team. We're gonna have the port.
Okay. I'm just gonna group on you guys then.
Yeah, just look for a port.
This team doesn't have port now. We need a port spot where we can look back, unless it's like safe.
Oh, that's Falcon then.
Okay. Can we look to fight them?
If you look at
low key.
Yeah,
I'm about to peek above him. PK. Batting.
I'm porting forward. Just harass them, okay?
Okay.
Fine.
I'm going to port.
Okay, my port's good. We just need to turn and kill them.
I'm taking.
They should be close.
On left. I'm getting Zero thing.
I'm scanning. Scanning should be really good. They both. Play back.
Play back.
I'm scanning.
Oh, 50, got going.
Ping right. Right there. Wait their bomb.
Play so. Yeah, come back. We can play spot.
Oh my god, I'm trolling. I'm coming back. I'm trying to. I'm trolling, bro.
There's someone so white. Come to me. Come to me. No, I got the kills.
Oh.
11-4, it's 5. No, it's not good enough.
The power of the PK and some third parties at that. Moving up, Sentinels and Boogie Borders get eliminated, but guess who's sitting comfy is Oblivion. They got the KP they needed. They are in your top 20. They situate themselves with 105 total points in 19th place.
The only team now left who might be able to change their fortunes is that one man and his friends sitting behind a bush. It's Vayne, desperately trying to get some meds off. The zone has shifted away from them. Luck was not on their side in game 6 here, but maybe they can make it through brute force.
NIP being another one of those teams with 91 points and 9 squads left. It's not out of reach. Although Rock gets booted into the loser's bracket, now Sentinels are looking on, and now they can't have that opportunity in their own hands. But Team Mango, NIP, they're looking at TSM being another one of those teams to feel a little bit more comfy right on top of Oblivion. But now looking at the zone and where it's going to be pulling, E36 have not moved from their position. They have the rampart walls. They don't need to. They're looking on at the fights happening all around them. But we also know this is a team that had no issue having a White Evil Shield in the final zone of our previous game.
Nah, they've been chilling. They have absolutely been chilling. Ninjas in Pyjamas in much the opposite situation. Here's Gurev, our Sparrow specialist. He's looking at Supernova. He's looking at Gaming Gladiators. Separate doors. 6v3, not odds in NIP's favor. McLovin goes down at just the wrong time. Can they even get him up? He's not going for the res. There's no sightlines on him, but they decide to leave him. Oh God, Vayne.
There is just no way you try to reset on the other side of the wall in the line of sight of another team, causing the demise of now 2 players on NIP. Vayne holding on to at least having his opportunity to find himself in the winner's bracket. As the Mad Maggie, he tries to deviate back towards his teammates. He's looking to get the res. Can he get this off?
Supernova's looking. They're pushing out. Will they peek over? No. Do they hear the sound cue? Oh my God.
Oh, we take those. The catwall too. Oh, they're good for now. As Hawkies gets over to the side, is able to pop that med kit. GG now getting involved. Wolves neighboring that building right next to them. But look at effect. The Wrecking Ball is having a ball, literally dancing it off in that doorway. As Gaming Gladiators now slide in, they try to take this fight, but they have the Evil Shield disadvantage, and missing those crucial Mozam shots send them back to the lobby.
GG out. They were a long shot. They'll finish with 83 points. Currently in 28th spot overall. Crazy Thieves, they needed something like a 25-point game. They've actually pushed themselves up into 26th spot, but they would need another 15. At this point, I don't know if it is within their power. Ninjas in Pyjamas. They've gotten a full reset, and now they're sitting above Oblivion. How on earth did that happen? Supernova let them.
They need to with the high ground here. Big opportunity with where they're at. 25 in the overall standings, 92 points. And they have to claw their way over to this dub as Oblivion move up. They take the Hail Mary push, but they know that they're safe. As 4 squads left, make it 3 with Supernova falling. NIP, can this be their chance as they now move up?
Oh my God. All of a sudden, Ninjas in Pyjamas are on 99 points. They only need 2 more.
It's doable. CRT are trying to reset, and E36, who have not moved, have the red car. The Mythic be coming in clutch, taking that out of the death boxes of another team. As NIP now look and play this patiently. 3 squads left. They're hearing the fight. They don't want to put themselves in the middle as they're forced to come out of the low ground.
You can see the wireframes there, both teams above them. But it really does come down to who has to peak first, and Enterforce 36 should get pushed out. Oh my God, it's a big full send here from Enterforce 36. They're right on top of CRT. Can NIP take advantage of this?
This is all off of a clutch res from the Mad Mag at the hands of Vayne with a crazy catwall. No pushing onto them. They're poking, they're looking, but E36 backs away. This forces NIP to play this slow before they're forced to climb over.
Insane firepower from CRT to stay alive during any of this. Honestly, NIP make the last push for their points. They're gonna get it.
They're taking places up to Vayne. Can he go for another clutch? He's forced to reload, and he can't get it. Crazy Thieves with the back-to-back come through to take the dub for game number 6.
Oh my God, did they think they've done it? They've got 101 points. You would most times expect to get through on that, but because Ninjas in Pyjamas had such a massive game, they are going to advance ahead. You can see 3 bases look at the monitor and just realized that they have missed out by 2 points. Crazy Thieves, we said they need a 24-point game. They gave us a 25-point game, and it wasn't enough!
Dude, they literally had 30-something points, like, at the start of the 4th game. Like, imagine if we woke up just a little bit earlier, but that's why we keep talking about the importance of these little points, whether it be getting 1 KP or getting placement with a back-to-back dub.
Where's the plot armor? You get a 25-point last game, and you're telling me that doesn't get you through in that situation?
Teams are waiting, if they haven't been told already, where they sit. Oblivion, Monsoon himself specifically, just looking eagerly onto that screen, but they're safe. They're in within the top 20, it looks like. As we take a look at our squads before they find out the news, which teams will be starting things off in that lower bracket. Oblivion had secured a total of 106 points in the overall standings. NIP with 103 points. Crazy Thieves, though, were on the cusp with 101 points. Tied that together with FaZe.
I mean, we were calling a 90 to 95 point threshold at the start of this series. Rock. These poor guys are sitting in the stands with triple digits. Here we go. Here are the final group's standings. You're telling me that they were sitting there with triple digits watching this series play out and watching as CRT, NIP, Oblivion, Boogie Borders all managed to surpass them in the last couple of games.
In a group stage threshold that we were all expecting going into today and looking at past LAN data, that maybe the 95-point cutoff would be it. No, we've gone beyond that with the teams within this group. I mean, you're looking at CRT and it's like, okay, do you have to just play like you're risking it all at this point just to find that momentum, to find yourself fragging out, to have that confidence? But it's NIP, Oblivion, Boogie Borders that are safe. They will be starting things off on the winner side of the bracket.
This is the highest point total for a 21st team in group stages ever. In every other LAN that has happened so far, 3 digits is enough to get you there. 99 sometimes has not, but 100 has always gotten you over the line. Crazy Thieves have had a heartbreak in what could be said to be the hardest group stage we've ever seen. Fitting for an end to our Year 5 championship.
I would not have it any other way. And imagine the teams watching this, biting their nails, hoping, sitting on the edge of their seats, that they will be safe when their fate is out of their hands. But that's a topic for tomorrow as they are looking on to stay in this tournament. Our $2 million championship. And a lot of our teams in this series needed to have those pop-off performances on Olympus, which brings us a completely different look at teams rolling out with different compositions. You don't usually see different Trident plays, a lot of coexisting, the way that some of these teams that knew what was at stake, the way they slowed down their gameplay, like Oblivion. As we take a look at the match 6 results that concluded our day for our group stages and for our last groups facing off against each other with Group A versus D. Crazy Thieves, man. The back-to-back dub. They won Game 5 with 12 KP, and they come through with the dub on Game 6 with 13 KP.
Phony had been copping a lot of criticism from all sides of social media, especially about how aggressive the Crazy Thieves had been, or to sum it up, their lack of it, especially when you got fraggers like Jen and Evan on your team. Now, the fact that he has just let them off the leash there for that last game, and we've seen a 25-point resurgence, is amazing, but it does leave you wondering, Vicky, what if he'd done it earlier?
Just go crazy. That's the answer. Just go crazy. It worked out for Crazy Thieves, but I mean, I guess it works out hand in hand, right? They wanted to steal the opportunity literally from the other teams that were on the cusp. May have been able to achieve that, pushing themselves up, but not finding themselves in the winner's bracket. It's been a crazy group stages thus far. Looking at the amount of points on the board that some of our teams were able to obtain, I gotta catch my breath here, Genome. All right, guys, thank you so much. I want to hear more thoughts from the desk after the crazy last game we just saw.
Great job, Vicky and Genome. Guys, thank you for closing us out of that group stage. And what a wild group stage it was as well. That battle by the bubble, guys. I mean, absolute insanity. And we're not even that deep into the competition, Dia. I mean, this just proves how good everybody is.
It really does. And I've been really wanting to say this since it happened. Crazy that the Thieves had their winners bracket position stolen by ninjas in pajamas. I mean, everybody at home gets it. Thieves, ninjas, it's a whole thing. I've been thinking about it. And it really was, in a way, stolen. I mean, ninjas in pajamas performed really admirably during that last game to find the win and the kills, or rather, to almost find the win and the kills. Think about it this way. Ninjas in Pajamas took 2 kills on E36 in that last fight. Had those 2 kills gone to Crazy Thieves, we'd be seeing them in the winners bracket. That's how close it was.
And it's always that way when it comes to these competitions. ALGS is going to be keeping everybody on their toes every single time. A team that I do want to give a little bit of love to, too, Graceful, is Supernova. They absolutely crushed it today.
I mean, Supernova is one of those really OG teams we've been seeing as well. You know, we talk about Hotdog's return. We're talking about Nine-Nips, who's been having such success for the longest of times, but not really to that level we always believed it could be. And now with the addition of Qadsiah as well, who's been so new and fresh and strong to the team, we've really seen the potential of when they can take over a game.
I mean, and this is kind of what we were hoping for, right, Tiff? We have a little bit of a lull before we come to champs. Teams shake things up. We've got a new meta. Now we get here to LAN, and everyone looks like they were ready.
Well, good. I'm glad. They had plenty of time to prep for it, so you would better be ready if you're coming to Sapporo. Now, but there are a couple of teams in this last series that didn't show up.
True.
Alliance, Enterforce 36. I don't know if I came in with a curse. Maybe I had a death note that I was working in on Google Docs instead, but it just didn't pan out for them, right? It might have been their lowest scoring. And I said, Enterforce 36 will be the top of group stages barring anything catastrophic. Catastrophic happened.
Well, now we get an opportunity here to take a look at some quick stats here between NIP and Crazy Thieves. You were just talking about how that could have gone either way, Dia. I mean, it was a long shot, to be fair, for Crazy Thieves. We heard the casters talking about how many points in a game they would have needed to make it work in their favor, but like you boiled it down, it just really was a 2-point differential.
Yeah, 2 points, 2 kills. Let's take a look at the clip of it because this last fight was wild. I'd encourage you all to take a look at the upper right-hand corner of your screens because that's where the real information goes down here, especially with the E36 Ninjas in Pajamas fight. The fact that this became so close in an end circle like this, Graceful, was really something that we saw echoed throughout Olympus. The multi-team end games where it comes down to the 1v1v1s were fantastic.
The fact that he even stalled out this long is only possible due to the map outlay, having several layers of floors and waves to where people are in for the longest of absolute times. However, at some point that circle does shrink to that extent to where you're now forced to engage with each other. Even then, still, NIP was down below, hoping for the longest of times, trying to see if, hey, maybe we could just 3P the last fight, finding out that, hey, we're actually kind of vulnerable, we need to make the play, and due to the fact that they took it in their own hands is how they ended up in the top 20s.
Well, we're gonna take a look at the standings one more time just so everybody at home can see what that meant at the end of the day. These are the top 20 that will be making their way through to that winner side of the bracket, and then the bottom 20 will be fighting for their lives in the elimination side of the bracket, Tiff, and there are some big names in there.
Yeah, there definitely is. You've got Rock. That's unfortunate that they fell out through that bubble, victims to a lot of the teams that were raising the floor there. Team Liquid Alienware, we started to see some moments of life into their gameplay there towards the end, of course, but not enough and not soon enough. REIGNITE, Aurora, RIDDLE, Firestrays. We had moments where they were in the top 5 in a game series, and unfortunately they walk away with just 79 points. That's a pretty big miss.
And then on the positive side of that too, just want to give a little bit of love to Oblivion. We saw frustrated Monsoon got at the end of that clip, but still they're able to get their way into winners. So I mean, they've got to be proud with that.
Yeah, Yeah, but that's one of those moments where you look back and it's a 1v1 and it's such a tense scenario where just mere seconds can change the game. You watch the clip from Verhol's POV and Monsoon doesn't look like he does anything, right? He looks like he almost just kind of freezes up. But you see it from Monsoon's POV, you're grabbing reses, you're grabbing the banner, and it's just like, it doesn't tell the whole story.
Yeah, I mean, that was tough, but still, they're able to survive, and we'll live to see the winners bracket tomorrow. Now let's start focusing on some individuals. I'm actually excited to see this one because it's time for our Sony in-zone kill leader race, and I want to see who is going to be at the top of this. It is, once again, none other than the CEO himself. 46 kills for Hal. He is having an insane tournament right now, Graceful.
Yeah, I mean, he even said it himself. He really felt like his mechanics have been improving over time, and he just really goes to show, you know, this is definitely... can we even say that this is the meta he's going to perform? He's been performing in every single year, every single tournament. He's just doing so good. And looking at these kills even here, even with the Kraber on the roller, still putting out numbers. But as we always, as everybody loves and knows as well, the R9 definitely fits in his hands.
There's a funny thing that we're tracking behind the scenes, so I want to talk about it a little bit. Hal right now, today, did not put up as many kills, obviously, as he did yesterday, but he is edging nearer and nearer to the 2,000 kill mark in his career. He's currently 17 kills off of 2K, which could mean that he hits it tomorrow, could mean that he hits it on match point Sunday.
Oh, I mean, talk about a nice little feather in the cap of the CEO as well. That'd be another stat to kind of take down. And once again, we are finding a reason to talk about Falcons. And, you know, I think it's just one of those things. Obviously, everybody has their eyes on them. They're still keeping themselves in that running, keeping themselves on the top side of our overall group leaderboard at the end of the group stage as well. So it's going to be a very exciting bracket stage. Now it's time for us to take a look at another leaderboard. However, this time it's our Red Bull First Strike leaderboard. And I actually don't think it's that surprising that we see UNLIMIT at the very top of this, Tiv.
Yeah, definitely not, considering when you think of 2 of the 3 names in the top 3, UNLIMIT and Men of Culture. Men of Culture were absolutely full sending everything, right? They get 3 of them, but UNLIMIT decide to full send the Men of Culture as a duo each and every game on Olympus in that prior series, and it got kind of messy, but I really did enjoy it, especially the last game that Dia and I got to cast. It almost went the way of Men of Culture.
I mean, Dia, I saw you wanting to jump in there too.
Yeah, I was just thinking about along the same lines how Men of Culture are really responsible for 2 of the games where UNLIMIT managed to draw first blood, and it really impacted UNLIMIT's score in the end. They ended up having 65 points in their group, Gen.G with 60, but you take a few of those Men of Culture kills away, and all of a sudden you're seeing UNLIMIT in 3rd place, Gen.G up another spot. It's an incredibly clutch roster, and I like that we're tracking this. Like, we haven't been able to track these first strikes before, but now that we're watching through the eyes of the Red Bull First Strike, it's really showing us what teams are willing to get aggressive early, and I think that has a strong correlation with the teams that have managed to make it into the upper bracket.
I love that. I love all of that. I think that this, Graceful, I think that after we kind of now have put a little bow on everything that we've gotten out of the day here, what do you anticipate to see now that we move into bracket stage? And we always talk about time and time again just how different group stage is from bracket stage.
I mean, now people don't have the being able to be comfortable of, you know, we always have the next round.
Sure.
People that are in the lower bracket now will be going home if they no longer perform. However, we've also seen the sides of people playing a little bit more towards their comfort picks. We saw a little bit of Seer throughout the games. A lot of Maggie picking out, a lot might be hard, but more people are reaching a little bit deeper in their pockets, you know, maybe where they didn't think they had as deep pockets now, praying that they find something. And I hope that everybody goes home and VOD reviews now, but because the next group that you will be fighting doesn't really have, you don't really have any practice because now it's scrambled.
Yeah. Yeah, you have to learn to adapt in the moment. Dia, final thoughts from you?
We're one step closer to me completing my master plan, not having to adjust my predictions at all, but we are entering the difficult phase of it. Right now, I want to warn everybody at home, I do have Rock winning Elimination Round 2, which means that they have to lose Elimination Round 1. So if you're a Rock fan at home, I'm really sorry for what I'm doing. Just be aware tomorrow may be a shaky day, but I got you. I got you.
Tiff, give me your thoughts on that.
I'm nervous. There's nothing worse than having to send players home, especially with how far a lot of our players have traveled to get here to Sapporo, Japan. The last thing you want to do is go out early in the bracket stages. You want to compete in that match point finals. You want to be the team that hoists the trophy, that says, I am a LAN winner, I am an Apex Legends champion when it comes to this situation. And if it all starts here in the bracket stage, well, lock it in, because it's about to get really crazy.
I cannot wait to see what we get tomorrow. It's going to be a longer day tomorrow as well, so hopefully all of you at home are looking forward to that. But in case you are not able to make it and you want to still keep yourselves up to date with everything that we've got going on all weekend long, just follow us on social media, whether that's at Play Apex Esports on X, YouTube, Insta, or TikTok, or at Play Apex on Twitch. That way you'll be able to see how everything is playing out. Join us on Matchpoint Sunday, because it's going to be a banger of a weekend. And a quick reminder too, make sure that you are checking out the official anthem, okay? Stim Up by Ozworld. It is so cool. Scan that QR code right on your screen. Start listening, start hyping yourself up, preparing for all of the action over the next 2 days, because things are only going to get even more exciting from here. And if we're talking about tomorrow, let's see how that is going to work, okay? Let's talk about the schedule. I mentioned it's going to be a little bit of a longer day. That's because we have 3 series coming your way tomorrow. You've heard everybody talking about it. We're going to be kicking off the day with our elimination bracket. Then we will move into our winners bracket. Of course, that means elimination bracket round 1. We will be sending some of our teams home. Whoever survives will then be waiting to see who they have to play against from the teams that drop down out of that winners bracket. And then we will close the day out with elimination bracket round 2. Of course, sending the top 10 out of winners straight through to Sunday. And then by the end of it all, we will have all of our teams set and ready to go for our match point of finals. But that's not all we have in store, okay? You got to see all the cool stuff we had ready to go for today. Well, if you thought today was fun, let's take a quick peek at everything that we have in store tomorrow as well.
I think to win this whole thing, I'm not sure I'd believe it. I'm not sure something that amazing can happen to me. That would just be everything.
そこを鳴らした後に2礼で2回拍手パンパンってやってそこからお願い事をするんですよこうやって。Hi Yukio.
That feels high enough. I'm actually so confident in mine. I'm actually so confident. Dude, mine's so... Wait, oh god.
You thought that Yukio's Real Apex games were done. They're not. Okay, we're going to be bringing them back tomorrow. So much fun content in store. And of course, our brackets